Well, hey, y'all. We did it. We made it. It's Friday. How y'all doing? I'm so excited for this. I can't even tell y'all. I can't. Let me say hi to everybody. Hello, Chick. Okay, reading this now, and you're going to be a little tardy. Hello, Kirsten. Hello, Momo. Hello, Lupe. Molson Man. Hey, you cool cats and kittens. It's your pal Jen Lou. Hey, Cement Shoes. Hey, Tony. Hey, Sam. Hey, Vincent's Missing Ear. Coolest Reviews. Hello. Good to see you. Missed you the last couple of nights. Hey, Amelia Sparkles. Hello, Lupe. Hey, A Curious Rose. Good to see you guys. Welcome. The gang's all here. Gang. Who's ready? Because I am ready. Wasn't feeling all that great. I think I'm trying to get whatever little bug is going around. I don't know what is happening to me. I never used to get sick. But I was like, I don't care what happens. I'm not gonna not be alive tonight. We have got to see this. And so I laid down and I took a nap and I slept far longer than I intended to. I guess my body was like, lady, just go to sleep. So I went to sleep. And then I woke up and then I was excited for tonight. Just have like a tickle in my throat. I don't know. It feels weird, but what ifs. Also, I wanted to tell you guys last night, but I forgot to. I remember I said I had a confession to make. Okay, here's my confession. Y'all ready? I fell off the snacks wagon on Wednesday night. I had a sweet tooth, and my husband had bought the Duncan Hines brownies that you can make in a mug. Oh, what's better than a brownie in a mug? So I had a brownie in a mug while I listened to Molson Man on Britney's. I fell off the snacks wagon. Just briefly, but I'm back on no snacks. It was just a brief fall. I'm back. Man, it's way down here for Ezra. Whew. Yeah, so that was my confession. Yep, totally fell off the snacks wagon. I don't have any hot toddy makings. It was a mug. I don't have a yellow cup because the yellow cup is still missing. Why don't they talk about the yellow cup? I hope I have, listen, you guys would be so proud of me because I have not even considered listening ahead. I was like, no, I'm waiting for my fam. And we are going to listen to this together the way the Bible intended. I don't even know. I'm pretty sure that's not right. Stop offering me things, YouTube TV. I don't need YouTube TV. I don't appreciate these high pressure sales tactics. It was actually pretty good. But yeah, it was a lot, Molson Man. It was a lot. It was hard because I just wanted to know about the I just want to know about this dadgum yellow cup that was so important that she had to get. Oh, okay, Mo. Sorry. Oh, okay. Yeah, hang on. Give me just 1 second. Hey, Max 2002. Man, I can't take Benadryl. If I take Benadryl, I'll be scrubbing grout lines. Benadryl makes me hyper, wires me up. I can't take it. I don't like that feeling. Okay. Not from an allergy pill. You know what I mean? There's other things you can take that'd hype you that you expect to hype you. And Benadryl ain't it. So I don't take it. It doesn't work for me anyways. It doesn't even help my allergies. It just makes me scrub grout lines and be like hype so I don't even remember that I have allergies. That's mainly what it does. All right. So I just sent the link to Mo so she can come up here. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the link in chat and I'm going to pin it. And maybe, well, no, this is what I'll do. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the link in chat and I'm going to pin it. And then, because let me see how long this testimony is today. What the frack? I don't want to fast forward. I just want to see the total. Oh, it's an hour and 29 minutes. So what's half of that? So 40 after 45 minutes. That'll be perfect because yes, there is a real yellow cup. She totally went to his. Okay, so this is what had happened. Now I'm all on a side tangent. But anyway, this is what we'll do. Let me finish my one thought because my mind is getting too cluttered with 11 billion tabs open. So at about the halfway point, I'll open up panel so we can have people up, and then we'll watch the other half, and then I will open panel again to have everybody discussing all the things that is Ezra related. So here's the deal with the yellow cup. Initially, Ezra went to Alex's house to return some items. And as she was returning some items, she realized Alex had her yellow cup. And so she went in the home behind Alex, to retrieve this very importante yellow cup. However, we don't know. That's the last time we done heard about this yellow cup. We don't, the whereabouts of the yellow cup remain unknown. And we're very upset about it.
I'm going to go back through and look at the pictures and see if I see yellow cup in that car.
Would you be a lamb and do that, Mo?
I sure
Because
will.
I need to
Because you
know
know how things bug me.
Yeah. Now I've got that yellow cup is stuck in my crawl. I need to know the location of this dadgum yellow cup. But never fear. Should we not be able to locate this yellow cup, Cement Shoes came up with an idea for some merch for the ward. The official, the yellow cup, the official cup of the ward, right? And it'll say something like Ezra wants it back or something. We'll figure it out. But I think it is a must-have. It's going to be a must-have item for 2022 and beyond. So that is what we shall do. All right, so let me.
Oh, great. Cement Shoes. Now that song's going to be stuck in my head. Build me a buttercup.
Don't start, Mo. Now I'm gonna have to freaking finish it. Don't break my heart. I need you. Pick a rap song for me to all right, are we ready?
Sure are.
Okay, here we go. Ezra Palooza, day 1 starts now. Bloop.
Good morning. Would you state your name and spell it for the record, please?
My name is Ezra McCandless. EMEZRA MCCandless. Mandless.
Okay, Ezra, I'm going to ask you to speak really clearly into the microphone because you're soft-spoken,
Yes.
so everybody can hear you. All right?
All right.
I guess the first question I'm going to ask you is, why Ezra McCandless? Why that name?
Oh,
Why
here we
Ezra
go.
McCandless? Well, I have gone through a lot of changes in my life regarding identity and what really fits me. And I tried on a few names, but I found ultimately that Ezra's fit perfectly for who I am.
What was your birth name?
My birth name was Monica J.
And did your name eventually become the last name Carlin?
Yes.
So why did you decide specifically, I'm going to ask you the specifics of both names and what they mean to you. Let's talk about the last name first. Why you
Alright.
I
changed
need
your
you.
last
I
name.
need you more than
changed my
anyone.
last
Oh my gosh,
name.
I need to stop.
Not to change my last
Hey,
name
Ella,
because of
Allie.
family's sake.
Hey,
but
Heather, whatever.
I changed it because of the name McCandless is from an individual named Christopher McCandless from Into the Wild, he's known for. And his love for nature, his philosophies for life, they were very
Wait
in
a
tune and
minute.
aligned
Wait
with
a
who I
minute.
am.
Wait a minute. Wait
So
a
I
minute. I got to rewind
honored
this
him
a
by
second. Just give me just 1 second.
Is from an individual.
Specifically, I'm going to ask you the specifics of both names and what they mean to you. Let's talk about the last name first. Why you
Alright.
changed your last name.
I changed my last name, not to change my last name because of family's sake, but I changed it because of the name McCandless is from an individual named Christopher McCandless from Into the Wild, he's known for. And his love for nature, his philosophies for life, they were very in
excellent
tune
eye
and aligned
contact
with
with
who
the
I am.
jury. Mhm.
So I honored him by taking his last name.
And what about, and Into the Wild, just everybody might know what it is, just in a sentence, tell us.
It's a novel. It's a book he wrote.
Okay. It was a book written about him?
Yes, about him.
Okay.
I like
And
books.
what about the name Ezra? How did you choose that name?
I was on a family vacation and it was just absolutely wonderful. And I spotted the name Ezra and
She
I
saw
noticed
it on a
how
yellow cup.
it's more neutral. It leans not necessarily masculine and it's not necessarily completely feminine. And I found that just it felt right to me.
At a certain point in your life, did you feel that being identified as female did not fit you?
Yes.
Okay. Why don't you explain how you view your gender?
In
I
high
know, Max, I
school,
wasn't even gonna
I
address it.
found that I felt more comfortable being masculine. It was how I identified at the time. Was my alignment was very masculine.
What about now?
Now I'm fluid, so I lean now more towards my femininity as a woman.
Okay. And has this fluidity been going on for a period of time?
Yes, for a few years now.
Okay. I'm going to ask you what might seem like a silly question, but just some people noticed. Have you been doodling in court?
Yes.
Can you
I
explain why?
Well, I've been doodling in court because there's times when this experience is very traumatic and it helps center me so that I can breathe through it and I can focus on something at the time so that I can breathe.
Are you an artist?
Yes.
Can you just tell the jury a little bit about how you developed your interest in art?
I developed my interest in art when I was as young as 5 years old. I've always had an interest in art and I've been doing it since then. And I continued to have a passion for it throughout high school and even in secondary school when I decided to take art and work for a professor of the arts and hang for a gallery.
All right. And the other thing I want to ask you is what your height and weight are.
What?
So what's your height, first of all?
I'm 5'2".
And how much do you weigh?
I roughly,
I'm sorry.
I roughly weigh between 115 and 120 pounds.
Back in March
Yes.
of 2018, approximately what was your weight? Or
Approximately my weight was 115.
so about the same?
Yes.
Were there times before then where you were heavier?
Yes.
I'm going to ask you about meeting Alex.
All right. Yes.
Why don't you tell us how you met Alex Woodworth?
I met Alex Woodworth one night when I noticed him. He was writing alone inside a bar called The Joint. He just seemed very focused, and I thought it was interesting that he was alone amongst all these people, so focused on his writing.
Is that the answer you wanted? Look at her face.
When you saw him alone, focused on his writing, did you have any conversation with him?
Yes.
How did that occur?
Hi,
I
nonstop
was
mom.
curious as to how he could focus alone on this topic. I approached him and I said, "What are you writing about? Just tell me about it."
I'm going to show you what has been marked as exhibit number 6.
Gotta ask if you can
96.
approach, but okay.
97, sorry, can't see anything without my glasses. And ask you to identify what this is.
This is a table of contents of Alex's writings.
Okay.
All right,
You see
I'll be
this
right
before?
back.
Yes.
Mo
And
You're in
just
charge.
to understand.
Oh,
right,
great.
and Molson
You
Man. You
were
got
informed
Molson
when
Man
the
to be in charge.
original
I'm just gonna
copies
be
of
right
Okay.
back. You'll be
shown,
fine.
Yes.
And is this an accurate
I can still
copy
hear
of
and
them?
everything. I'm on my
Yes.
phone.
Alright.
I'll be right back.
And just showing you, can you name the names of the journals?
Yes. Do you want me to read?
Yes, you can, and it's just so the jury is clear. Does this book contain both the original copies of the original handwriting and then typed copies to make it easier to read?
Yes.
All right, okay, so what are the names of the journals?
Personal notes, research ideas, and the quest to understand.
Okay, that's the first journal. The
Yes.
second,
Extra Scraver.
okay, and the third?
I met a man walking through a briar patch. He was looking for the rose promised by the thorns.
Judge, I would move exhibit 697 into evidence.
Driver, can we just approach a second?
Yes. All right, well, exhibit 697, subject to a limitation, will be received.
When you met Mr. Woodworth,
Yes.
I'm going to show you page 6. From the exhibit you just saw.
Yes.
First of all, on that day, did Alex Woodworth show you his journal?
Yes.
And looking at page 6, I'm just going to ask you to take a minute to look. There's 2 pages to page 6, a typed version and a handwritten version.
Yes.
Are those the same, the typed version and the handwritten version?
Yes, they are.
Did he share with you what he had written on that day?
Yes, he did share with me.
Did you also read it at a later date?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to put this on the. Oh, no. Okay, first I'll show. All right. And just to clarify the record, this is a journal entry from August 8th, 2017, right? Okay. So just to show what the handwritten version looks like, is this the handwritten version?
Yes.
All right, now so we can read it, I'm going to show you the typed version. Huh? Okay. So in this typed version, after, it starts with a quotation, right?
Yes.
And that's
Yes.
from a book.
Yes.
Do you know who the author of that book is?
No, I cannot remember.
Okay, that's fine. Can you read the next sentence to the jury?
I am oddly preoccupied with the concept of cannibalism, not quite with the actual cannibalism practice, but rather the indwelling metaphors our understanding actually works with.
All right. The essay, what does the essay go on to talk about without having to read every line?
Cannibalism is mentioned in this essay a few times. It goes on to deal with the concept of metaphorical cannibalism and the concept of cannibalism itself as what cannibalism renders you as, and the anxieties and the fears and being a meal in a sense.
Is it fair to say, or is your interpretation of the essay that it is philosophical in nature
Yes,
as opposed to literal in nature?
yes.
I'll come back to his writings on cannibalism, but I'm going to ask you a little more about that conversation with him.
Yes.
Aside from looking at his journal about cannibalism, what discussions did you and Alex Woodworth have at that time?
Well, he caught me right away because I thought it was quite a peculiar subject, cannibalism. And I was interested in what he meant, what I understood. He was speaking of it philosophically, and I also wanted his ideas and his concepts of literally cannibalism. So we talked back and forth about a few artists that have partaken in cannibalism that he mentioned. We spoke about the anxieties of and what it means for someone to consume another.
What did he say that at that time, on August 8th, or roughly August 8th of 2017, what did he tell you about what he meant by consuming another?
Objection, hearsay, Your Honor.
Overruled.
Thank you.
Again, we have had a pretrial ruling on this, and it doesn't go to the truth of the matter. It only goes to what Ms. McCandless heard or understood or what was in her mind. So you may proceed.
As long as we're on that understanding, then that's fine.
Okay.
I withdraw the objection.
Can you ask the question again, please?
Sure. Actually, I'll have the court reporter read it back, so it's exactly the same.
Okay.
Okay, so what did he say at that time on August 8th, or roughly August 8th of 2017? What did he tell you about? What did he tell you about what he meant by consuming others?
Thank you. At that time, when we were deep in this discussion, he mostly talked about the philosophical sense, and he also mentioned the fact that often individuals partook in cannibalism because it was, in essence, a consumption of one's power to take in another's flesh.
All right. Besides cannibalism, did you talk about other things with him that evening?
Yes,
All right. At some point, was your conversation interrupted by another person?
it was.
Who came over to interrupt your conversation?
My boyfriend at the time, Jason, pulled me aside and he kind of interrupted our conversation.
He's rude.
What impressions or feelings did you have after Jason interrupted your conversation?
Can
We'll
you-
all be drunk if we do that.
Yes, about him interrupting.
Well, I felt that my conversation
Hey,
was
Le
cut
Chat
short,
Noir.
that I had plenty more to talk about.
Were you able to then continue your conversation with Alex Woodworth?
Yes.
Why don't you just summarize that for us? What else you talked about?
Well, we went out for a smoke and we started talking about our love for spiders because we both noticed a spider in the window sill or a spider web. We noticed it at the same time.
Okay.
Oh. Guess who else
So that
likes,
first time that
likes
you
spiders?
talked
Charles
Alex,
Manson.
Oh, I like spiders.
Yeah, but
How
you're not
long?
you're not
About,
known
if you
for
can remember
unaliving people,
approximately,
Mo.
how long do you think your conversation was with him on that particular day?
But
In full,
I
think our
actually find them
conversation
fascinating
was
too.
about an hour.
Did you continue your friendship after that?
Yes.
And did you eventually become more than just friends?
Yes.
All right, we're going to return to that. But right
Alright.
now, I'm going to get into a different topic with you, all right? I'm going to ask you about Jason Mengele.
All right.
Tell us briefly how you met Jason.
I met Jason outside of a coffee shop one night after a music festival,
What's the name of that coffee shop?
Racy Delane's.
All right. And just tell us a little bit about meeting him.
He let out a big sigh, and I was curious why he was doing that. He seemed quite frustrated, so I said, "Well, what's the matter?" And
Oh my!
we just
Even her
we
pickup
instantly
lines
started
are
talking
lame.
and
She's
talked
awful
almost all night.
curious about people.
After that all-night
Nosy.
conversation, what happened with you and Jason?
Well, after we exchanged information, we had begun texting and back and forth, and we started seeing each other after.
At that time, where were you living?
I was living with my mother in Stanley, Wisconsin.
The texting went on, and did it texting lead to dating?
Yes.
Yes.
You sound kind of happy about that, or not happy, intense, I would say, would be
Well,
the word.
We fell in love
Objection is
quite fast
lawyer
because we had just so
testifying?
much in common.
And how, in the beginning of that relationship, how would you characterize how Jason treated you?
He treated me very well.
What was the age difference, or what is the age difference between you and Jason Mengele?
It's about 13, 14 years apart.
Do you know how old you were when you met him?
Yes, I was about 19.
Did you know how old he was?
Yes,
How old was he then, if you recall?
he was about 34.
All right. So that's how you remember it?
Yeah,
All right. So there's
Yes.
about a 15 or so year age difference between the two of you?
yes,
Did
Vincent
you realize
wins.
that right away when you met him?
yes.
How did you feel about that? That
Well,
age difference specifically?
The age difference. Well, I wasn't concerned necessarily that we had an age gap. I felt a bit awkward that he was so much older than me and he was even close to my own parents' age.
You didn't find it odd that you had so much that a
there come a
33-year-old
time
had
in
a
your
lot in
relationship
common with a
where you got
19-year-old?
Yes,
How did you discover that?
I was very sick.
I don't know,
and I had
Amelia.
been throwing
Maybe.
up for weeks, and I decided to go buy a pregnancy test.
Okay.
And take it.
Trigger warning. I'm sure they're going to be talking about the A word.
When you say buy a pregnancy test, do you mean those kinds they sell in the drugstore that give you a line?
Yes,
All right. So where were you when
The
you took the
hell's the
pregnancy
A
test? Do you
word?
remember?
I was at a gas station.
And
Well, you listen to the testimony, Mo,
Did
so you know
you
what it
tell
is.
Jason about
Think about it.
Yes, I did.
how did he react?
The termination of the
He-
pregnancy, babe. Can't
He
say it on
seemed
YouTube.
Anxious, and he wanted to go to get.
I would have not
He
guessed.
wanted to
that.
go get the test confirmed at the doctor's, and it was hard to really read what he was thinking at the time.
Did you go to the doctor?
Yes, I did.
After, and what was the result from the doctor's office?
I was in fact pregnant.
Ultimately, what did you decide to do about that pregnancy?
I ultimately decided to terminate the pregnancy early on.
Why?
I wasn't sure what to do at that time. I was scared. I was so young. I was confused as to really what to do. So I decided, it felt rushed. I decided to terminate the pregnancy.
And would it be fair to say that even then you had very conflicted feelings?
Yes.
Objection leading.
Sustained.
All right. how did terminating the pregnancy make you feel?
I felt very empty after. I felt it hurt emotionally and physically, and it made me feel alone and very empty.
After terminating the pregnancy, did you tell Jason you did not want him in the room?
Okay, I actually believe that part.
I did, yes.
Why?
I felt overwhelmingly ashamed, and I just felt like I didn't want to have him witness me like that. I didn't want him to.
This abortion and its aftermath, was there a change at all to your relationship?
Yes.
Why don't you tell us about that?
After the abortion, things between me and my partner, Jason, it caused a lot of distance between us. He began sleeping on the couch, and he rejected physical intimacy, even holding my hand at times.
Just so we set the date, do you recall the date that you terminated your pregnancy?
Yes.
When was it?
The only date that I could schedule was October 6th.
Is that a significant day to you in another way?
Yes.
Why?
It's my birthday.
So you said he started sleeping on the couch,
Yes.
lacked physical intimacy, wouldn't even hold your hand. Were there other things going on in your relationship that made you feel uneasy or unhappy?
Yes.
Why don't you tell us about those?
Jason and I started feeling frustrated, and I felt very micromanaged at the time. He was controlling me in many ways and micromanaging me, and we had started to grow apart as a couple.
Oh, you
Were
mean
there
the older
anything that
man
he
was
did that made
bossing you
feel
around?
physically uncomfortable?
Shocked.
Yes, he never hit me, but he would be very erratic with his gestures, and sometimes he would throw things or break things.
Oh, here we go. Now
made me uneasy.
Now we're going to be punishing people for chunking
Did
stuff.
he make accusations of you at all?
I don't even like
Yes.
Jason, but
Why don't
still,
you give
come
us an
on.
example?
An example of an
Mike,
accusation
hold
is
on a
that
second.
I
I'm
was
gonna have to
clumsy
stop.
and that
I
I
have to
would
stop
lose his
her.
things.
Okay, Ezra, look here. First of all, I do believe her sadness when she talked about the termination of the pregnancy. That's the only thing I believe so far. All right, but you literally unalived another human being. And you're squeamish at throwing things. I mean, people throw stuff. I throw the ball to my dog all the time. I have also been known to occasionally, out of frustration, chunk an item or two. Never at any but well. Look here. I just feel that Ezra is being very, very judgy, and I don't really appreciate it, because it feels disingenuous. It doesn't feel truthful. It doesn't feel like she was actually scared because somebody threw something a few times. You know what I mean? He didn't throw it at her.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe I'm damaged in a way that violence doesn't scare me, and it should, but I just don't believe her. But I do believe her about the termination of the pregnancy. Okay, here we go.
All
Yeah,
of the
she
time.
doesn't come
There
across
was a
as
time
believable.
where he got
Sincere.
very
They're
heated
lacking
over a
sincerity.
Sharpie marker, even.
Okay,
and
Sharpies
it
are important though, lady.
caused an argument between us.
What did he say about the Sharpie marker?
That I misplaced it on purpose, and I'm so stupid for losing things
Exactly,
all the
Tony.
time. I shouldn't touch his things.
Correct,
That's
Tony.
about what it was about.
You were in court when Jenna Van de Zant testified?
Yes.
And she identified herself as Well, first of all, did Jason have a roommate back at that time?
Yes, he did.
What was that roommate's name?
His name was Alexander Zink.
And what was Jenna Van de Zandt's relationship to Alexander Zink?
They were boyfriend and girlfriend.
Was she somebody that at that time you became close to?
Yes.
You heard her testify about Jason.
Hey, I've learned a lot.
Criticizing your makeup, or what was that about?
Well, he would at times criticize my makeup. He would say I looked like a clown, or he
Oh,
would criticize
that's not
my weight,
nice.
even though at that time I was very small from being sick. And he just, anything he could really pick at, he would.
How about your hair? I've picked at your hair.
You mentioned that
It's
Jason
terrible.
and your adoptive father, Joe Shane Carlin, are about the same age.
Yes.
And
I don't remember that girl's testimony.
Jason
Because
have
we
a
haven't played it
relationship?
yet.
Well,
Oh,
first,
That's why.
did Jason in some ways?
Well, she said
remind
we've
you of
heard
your
you
father?
That's
Oh, yes,
because it's
he
before this, but
definitely
everybody
reminded me
wanted
of
to
my
hold
father.
on. Let me
Okay.
push pause.
Can
It's before this, but I wanted
I
to
don't
get.
even remember that name.
I just talked about it last night. They were friends. They testify. The roommate and the girlfriend testify. I talked about it last night. We'll watch it. But
Did I record it?
Yes.
currently, how's your relationship with your father?
Don't remember that.
Hey,
I love
Kiss
him and
Chick.
we're fine.
Okay, but growing up, how was your relationship with your father?
It was
Hey, Crackling
very
Rosie, true crime.
turbulent. I was often afraid of him and intimidated and very put down.
Oh.
Well, first of all, let me ask about both your parents, your mother and your father. When you grew up,
Yes.
at a certain point, did your mother and Joe Shane get a divorce?
Yes.
How old were you then?
I was in middle school. So 11, 12.
Before the divorce, what word would you say most described that household?
It was like living with two tornadoes in one room.
All
She
right.
said a
And
word.
Focusing on that,
Yes.
the tornado that was Joe Shane. When you say tornadoes, what do you mean by that?
What I
Let me
mean
first
by
ask that.
that is they're both very strong, opinionated people, and they just would often butt heads. And my mom she disagreed about ways he would discipline me, and that would cause arguments.
Was there a lot of time when your mom was not at home during that period of your life?
Yes, she was working.
And
How dare
when
she?
you were with Joe Shane and your mother wasn't around,
Yes.
tell us about some of the things he would do.
Some of the things he would do when I was younger is he was very loud. He
Drive
would
safe,
always
Tony.
yell about something, or he would put me down. He often called me stupid, and he would say I wouldn't amount to much and that I was slow, and he was very emotionally abusive to me.
How did you respond to that?
I responded by just being quiet, and I would cry, and I would just often go off and be alone.
When you would cry, how would he handle that?
He doesn't approve of crying. He would tell me that he would give me something to cry about.
Was part of your response of dealing with him, did you sometimes feel like
Her
you were
dad.
like spaced
Foolish
out or lost a
reviews.
sense of where you were?
Yes,
Why don't you tell us about that?
there was often times to tone out the yelling and the name calling that I felt very distant from myself. I would essentially just close off everything around me, and I didn't want to cry in front of him, so I would prevent myself from crying.
Were there times where you found yourself in that state without even realizing you were going there?
Yes, there was times I would zone out and I wouldn't even realize I was doing it at the time.
All right.
Huh.
And getting back to Jason.
Oh.
Yes.
This is an
Did he meet
interesting statement
your
necklace
parents?
the lawyer's
Yes.
wearing today.
And Jason and your father, what kind of relationship did they have?
Very buddy. They were very close with each other.
Okay.
I mean, you know, they
So,
were in this, they probably
Coming
graduated
back
high
to the
school at the
issue,
same
leaving
time.
aside your family,
Yes.
coming back to the issue of you and Jason, and you're in this period where things aren't going well.
Yes.
What is happening at this point in your
Yeah, Max,
friendship
tell
with
her.
Alex Woodworth? And I'm directing you specifically to October
Yes.
of 2017, okay? After the abortion.
Alex and he would notice me at the coffee shop and I would notice him more. And we started going on long walks with each other after he would close.
When you say he would close, what do you mean?
Closing up the restaurant, coffee shop, Racy Delane's.
Do you mean he was closing up because he was the last patron there, or was he working there?
Working.
And on these walks, why don't you tell us what you and Alex talked about?
Alex and we talked about life itself. I would talk
Cannibalism.
about nature and how I viewed things. And then Alex would talk about how he would view things and his philosophies and his ramblings, as he would say. And often I was kind of the yin to his yang because a lot of his philosophies countered mine because mine are very in the sunlight, in the sunshine, and his are very much so a rainy day.
Oh, so you're a Jedi and he's a Sith? Is that what you're trying to say? Like, you can make it a little simpler for people.
Did you tell Alex about your abortion?
Yes, I did. On one of our walks, I shared with him what I was going through at that time, and he allowed me to open up about it and how I really truly felt and all of the pain that came with it.
I'm done with you, Allie, because you know I can't highlight.
As
I can't
you
highlight
got
that.
close to Alex,
Yes,
did you learn more about his past?
I learned some things about his past. Yes.
And your relationship, I'm going to ask you some questions about his past.
All right.
Oh, I wonder if I highlight that, if you'll be able to see it on the screen, the
What
sticker.
did you learn about
Oh, man.
Alex and his feelings as you became close with him?
Feelings towards his past.
Feelings.
Yeah, just tell us some of the things he shared with you.
Some of the things he shared with me is that he often puts a happy face on when he goes back home for holidays, and at times it can deeply depress him, and he often felt like an
Oh, that's
outsider,
particularly cruel.
that he had arguments with his father, I believe, and that he was deeply
I guess
religious.
I'm going to object, Your
Yeah,
Honor.
please do.
I don't see the relevance, number one, and number two, it's hearsay.
Well, again, first of all, in the hearsay objection, ladies and gentlemen, and you're going to hear testimony about things that Mr. Woodworth may have said and things that he may have wrote. And they're allowed in this case, not for the truth of what he wrote or what he said. And this is a difficult concept, I think. And you will get an instruction at the close of the case and why this evidence is admitted and why it is allowed. So and lawyers understand this and hear it all the time, but it's not offered for the truth of the matter asserted, but only offered as it goes to the context and the state of mind Ms. McCandless may have had and how what she heard or read affected her. And so now the second issue, Can
we approach her?
Yeah, because you're already annoying me. It's cruel
Ladies
for
and
her to
gentlemen,
say those
the
things in
objection is
front
sustained
of
on
the mother
relevance.
and the grandmother that are in the
and so-
the
Ms. Vishney will continue.
gallery
Right.
watching.
I want to ask you some questions
in the
about
audience.
Alex and his feelings.
All right.
All right, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you an essay. Okay. I'm showing you again from Exhibit 697, essay called Words, dated November 2016.
Yes.
All right. So again, looking at the typed and the handwritten pages, have you had an ability to look at them before and compare them?
Yes.
And is the typed version just make it easier to read?
Yes.
Okay. Now, this
Yes.
essay was written before Alex met you, but have you read this essay?
Yes, I have.
And have you discussed it with Alex?
Yes.
Is this the typed version of the essay called Words?
Yes.
All right.
Correct, Le Chat Noir.
Looking at the second paragraph,
And it's
of
cruel
that
for her
essay.
to have said that in front of his mom and his grandma.
Can you read the second paragraph?
Are you speaking of the paragraph that starts with yet?
No, this paragraph that starts with "Do I wish," right on the top. So
All right. Would you like me to read this?
yes, please.
Do I wish, desire to die? In a way, yes. In another, no. For the first, life is misery each day the same, exhausting. For the second, a wager of experiences that outweigh any present pain. The former is inexpectable. The latter is need of comment.
Okay, the next paragraph.
Okay, Kazchik.
There is little I've enjoyed more than the physical intimacy, the contact under covers, whilst watching a film, for example. These have a way of grounding a shattered conscience. Regardless of any euphoria of reflection, her presence, her breath against me, the heaves of her chest cement me, pull me back together. Indeed, bliss is her heart beat felt.
All right, now, fair to say those words are not written about you. This journal is written before he met you.
Yes,
Did he express similar feelings towards you eventually in your relationship?
definitely.
Objection, relevance.
I like the way that he
I'm
objects
overruled.
because he's always so
Go ahead.
bored.
Yes, he did.
Objection, relevance.
And does he continue in this essay to talk about depression?
Yes.
What does he say at the
didn't
top
say
of this
anything,
page,
he
starting with
wrote.
the word "or"?
Or, in formula, my emptiness is what prevents any fulfillment. Or again, my misery blocks any happiness from occurring. Yet again, my illness makes a cure unattainable.
And-
How,
Okay, go ahead. You can go.
how sad, huh?
Does he talk in this essay about philosophy and how that helps him?
Yes.
What does he say about that? You can just summarize it if you remember it.
He does, Heather,
Philosophy
whatever.
is kind of a vessel for him.
And by a vessel, what do you mean?
A vessel for is what I considered pain.
Okay. Did he say that philosophy was like a way out or something that he could
Yes.
escape into?
Let her
And at the
finish.
very end,
the
in his
question.
essay, after he talks about escaping into it, what does he say?
He says,
And so, starting with those words.
and so. Do you mean pity me?
No, the paragraph before that.
All right. And so, my attempt to escape is futile. I am trapped by the
It's
very
escape.
trapped I was caught
I'm
by.
annoyed already.
The longing to be otherwise, that alone. Yet, that is what I am, alone. My loneliness even prevents socialization. Too many times I have heard, you didn't look like you wanted to talk. Entirely because I longed for that very connection I failed to even be recognized as feeling alone because of how alone I felt. Pity me, I refuse to utter such words. Instead, my only hope is to be as alone as I feel, so I can.
Thank you.
I don't know, Heather. I don't know. This is ridiculous.
Were there other times that Alex Woodworth wrote about being lonely, empty, and misery? Did that theme continue in his writings?
It continued, yes.
Okay.
You want me to speed it up nonstop, Mom? Okay.
me ask you this first, before I get to
Hey,
the themes
Sugar
of
Bee.
loneliness and misery in his writing.
Yes.
Did your relationship eventually change from being friends and confidants who went on walks and discussed philosophy into something else?
Yes.
Why don't you tell us about that?
Alex and I started slow. We held hands, we hugged, and we shared a few kisses, and then eventually we became partners.
And were you still living with Jason during this time?
Yes.
When you say you became partners, can you just explain what kind of partner you mean?
Sexual partners.
Okay. And did he express desires for you to be vulnerable to him?
Absolutely, yes.
I'm going to show you another essay of his. I'm just waiting to get it out of the book.
Yes.
Okay. What is the title of this essay?
In quotes, it says, "Come as you are, flaws and all."
What's the date that this essay was written?
October 29th, 2017.
And again, is the type version the same as the handwritten version?
Yes.
She keeps looking at her mom too.
All right. First of all, looking at the very top of this essay, Come As You Are.
Yes.
Okay. I just want to ask you, without having you read the whole top, you notice that he talks about Caputo, Abraham, and God. And,
Yes.
And the Abrahamic story of Isaac and sacrifice. Is that what that relates to?
Yes, it does.
Okay. And was Caputo, or just tell us about Alex and Caputo, or that book. Was that a book he was fond of?
He was very fond of that book. It was a staple in his reading and his philosophies.
Okay. Does he also, in the last sentence in this paragraph mentions, if I'll just read it for you, alongside the obligatory, I want to find a poetics of erotics. Did he connect Caputo, philosophy, and eroticism?
Yes.
Objection, leading.
I don't think that's leading. I just asked if he connected them. It's a preliminary question.
Okay, I'll give you a little latitude, so I'm going
Thank
to
you.
overrule, but
Okay.
it is leading.
What do you mean by that when you say he connected those things?
What I mean by that is that he wanted to explore them in his concepts of erotics. He wanted to explore the stories from Caputo and the novel about Abraham.
Okay. And going to later down the page, all right, as
Yes.
it continues, I'm going to ask you specifically, and I'm trying to make this easier for you to read, so you don't have to search.
Thank you.
Okay. Can you read that paragraph that starts with "Here I am"?
Here I am, come as you are, flaws and all. I wager myself and invite you to risk yourself.
All right, just stop right there. Do you know what he's writing about in this essay on October 29th?
Yes, I do.
How do you know?
I know because come as you are, flaws and all was a discussion we had between each other often. It was something he would say to me, he would text to me and ask of me all of the time.
Okay. And go ahead and keep reading that.
All of this is needed. I cannot command you to come unless I risk the same. In this phrase, I occupy both the Abrahamic, here I am, and the divine, come. If either parts fails, erotics fails, even if it succeeds.
All right, keep going.
If I do not risk myself, I reveal the desire to possess. I am seducing, not loving. If I do not invite you to risk yourself, I become the ethical fool, the willing sacrifice. I am committed, but to someone who doesn't love me.
What's he talking about there? Committed, but to someone who doesn't love him.
Objection, calls
Sustained.
for speculation.
Did he discuss with you what that line meant, that he's committed, but to somebody who doesn't love me?
Yes, we had this discussion, as we did in many of our discussions, about that I was still in a relationship essentially with Jason. So he felt that because I was still in that relationship, I was not fully committed to just him.
This essay ends with him saying, "We hide our flaws, and it is a feat to come flaws and all." Have you actually responded? Do you know what he's referring to there?
Yes,
Okay, can you tell the jury that?
What he is saying there is that it's hard to bare yourself to someone completely, to be vulnerable.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
That's all right. He asked of me to be vulnerable with him, to essentially come to him, flaws and all. And I've often struggled bearing my flaws easily and openly. So it was this discussion and this essay we read together was about how I was and trying to bear myself to him. And as he was asking, because he bared himself to me, that I should do the same.
Now, let's talk a little bit more about your relationship and its development. So this is written in late October.
Yes.
In that time, in October, just what's the status of your relationship with him yet? Is it sexual? Is it on its way to being sexual? What's going on?
It's at that time we were becoming intimate. Yes. We were very much so falling in love at that time.
And, did there come a time where you spent the night at his house?
Yes.
Do you remember roughly when that first time was?
Roughly, yes, I do remember.
Okay, why don't you tell us?
It was late October.
Could it have been the
November.
beginning of October?
Oh, yes.
I'm sorry, not late October. Could it be?
Beginning of November.
That's what I meant to say.
Yes.
I'm getting a little confused. All right. And was Jason out of town when that happened?
Yes, he was.
You've seen Alex's roommates come in and testify, his
Yeah.
former roommates?
Yes.
All right. Was Dave Stoiding a roommate at that time?
Yes, he was.
Had you ever met him?
No, we kind of avoided each other.
Okay. And what about the other roommate, Matt Schreiner? Did he eventually become a roommate too? Or
He was
a
a
roommate?
he was a roommate at the time. Yes.
And did you socialize with him at all?
Off and on, we would socialize. We met each other at the coffee shop a few times.
Okay. So when you stayed over with him, tell us how your relationship was developing at that time.
At that time, it was becoming very intimate, is how I can describe it. We at that time had become sexual partners, and we were sharing with each other a lot of ourselves.
Despite the fact that you were close and sharing things,
Yes.
was Alex still writing in a way that reflected and talking to you in a way that reflected misery or depression or unhappiness? Or
Yes, he was.
I'm showing you an essay in Exhibit 697
Yes.
called "The Failure to Write," dated December 21st, 2017.
Yes.
Are you familiar with that essay?
Yes.
And is it the same as the handwritten? Is the typed version the same as the handwritten?
Yes.
Now, in this essay, without reading, can you tell us, or just, I mean, not reading the whole thing, the paragraph that says this is supposed to help my misery? Can you read that paragraph?
Yes. This is supposed to help ease my misery, but it only draws it into reflection. I want to say so much to you, but I cannot bring myself to speak. The words, if said to you, would only hurt more. They would hurt you and exuberate my own pain.
Is that exacerbate?
Exacerbate.
That's okay. Then the words that he says after that, he goes on. Can you read that?
I know that I am not your priority. I am secondary to you. I believe that you love me, but your love for another is what you place your faith in. I am loved, but in a way that you can always give up. You believe that things can get better with the love you prioritize, and that means you believe you will abandon me someday. I am in so much pain because you love me, and still you hope to abandon me to my loneliness again. Can you see that your desire for your priority is also a desire for my annihilation? Can I show you this? Or is my only hope to be that your priority ceases to be so far the development of my own significance? Can you realize that I am your significant other in a way that I benefit from?
Now, this essay was written on December 21st, 2017.
Yes.
Okay, we're going to come back in a little bit to something that happened in December of 2017. Actually, I'm going to show you another essay. This is from December 26th, 2017.
Yes.
What is the title of that essay?
An Obsession with Misery, December 26, 2017.
Okay. And is this the typed version again? Is it the same as the handwritten?
Yes.
Okay, this is short.
Yes.
Okay, why don't you read this?
All right. Alongside my obsession with erotics, I am possessed to write about misery, the failing of happy consciousness. In all honesty, suffering is among my greatest interests.
Okay, just go ahead. Keep going.
I am in love with the phenomenology of illness, both mental and physical, but also with the sub-pathological suffering. The plight of a guilty woman who is sexually promiscuous interests me as much as those with cancer, depression, and dysphoria. The anxiety of perfectionism, of a short prognosis, of lifelong uncurable symptoms is a game, as that is an overworked college student with a cumulative final. Each differs from the others, but that there is misery remains constant. Love has been interwoven into my life, but so has object misery been. I recall my first
Okay,
love.
I'm going to stop you there
Okay.
because.
It is a word, but it's not the word that was written.
Did he discuss this essay with you?
Yes,
And he goes on in the essay to talk about other people and their misery?
yes, he does.
All right. And do you know, or did he talk to you about why he was writing about misery near the end of December?
He was himself feeling a lot of internal pain and loneliness, even as we had a relationship together.
So let me ask you, when you first met him, we talked about this a little earlier,
Yes,
and he was writing about cannibalism, right?
yes, he was.
All right. Do you recall,
hold on
did
a
that theme
second.
continue in his?
Okay, so we're at like about the halfway point. If you guys want, we can open up panel or we can keep going. It's up to you guys. Just let me know. But to answer, hold on, I have to scroll up and find it now again because I didn't. So I think close reviews. I think what they're. I hope not. He better not have left us. I don't know who we send to find out to find Molson, but Molson, come back. I feel like they're wanting her to read this to establish the chaos that surrounded their relationship and the conflict because Ezra was not a single girl. I mean, she was living with Jason, who now she has testified was very controlling and very critical and couldn't get anything right. Whereas Alex is being portrayed by Ezra in this situation as being very understanding and even accepting. Did anybody give him a hall pass? Because I don't believe I issued any hall passes. So I don't know who's in charge because Molson's the one that was doing the report cards. I guess I'll have to remember and reflect that in his grades. Anywho, I think that they're saying that their relationship, it would be difficult for Ezra it would be easy for Ezra to mistake things that Alex may have said to her, and because she was confused. You know what I mean? I'm not explaining it very good. Hey, Rubberhead. I just feel like they're trying to, at this point, by reading these, because it is what he's writing about is, their reflections. There are things that he's thinking about. They're trying to establish his state of mind and that he was unhappy and that he had, I think what they're trying to say, it suggests that the writings suggest that he had darker thoughts and that he equated intimacy with violence. And I think that's really what they're trying to establish here. And it's kind of annoying because when I listen to her read it, I really, yes, exactly. Le Chat Noir. I just love your name. It's so fancy. I just feel like, yeah, they are. They're trying to make him out to be an unsympathetic victim. And as if he, like I said, he equates violence and intimacy. And so Ezra snapped after all the things that she had been through. But I will say this. I think it's a dangerous game that the defense attorney is playing, referring to the termination of the pregnancy the way that she is, the word that she's choosing to use. It's a harsher word. And there are people who have very strong thoughts about that, which they're obviously entitled to. It's not a judgment. I'm just saying it's a fact. There are people that feel very strongly about it. And it has a negative connotation in some people's minds. And then to continually remind, especially with some of these writings, to continually remind the jury that Ezra was, she can say essentially in a relationship, but if the other person doesn't know you've left the relationship, you know, it's not like a job where after three no call, no show, the job figures you're done, right? That's not how relationships work. Like you have to give the person notice. You have to tell them that you don't want to be in a relationship with them anymore. Otherwise, it's cheating. And a lot of these writings that she's having Ezra read point to that and talk about that. And yeah, I mean, I think that oh yes, I do want to show that. I'll let me download that and or well, I have it downloaded, but let me upload it here and I'll show it to you guys. Give me just a second. So I'm taking it that nobody wants to come up on panel, which is absolutely fine. Fine. Exactly. Le Chat Noir. It's subject to interpretation. So it's like anything else that is written, unless it is a very clear statement like, I like gummy bears. It's very difficult to interpret that sentence. Well, I pinned the link, coolest review. So come on up if you want to. But yeah, the kind of writing that Alex does is subject to interpretation. And I suppose that, as they discussed earlier during a pretrial hearing that I don't have, but anyway, that this is the way she interpreted, and it goes to her state of mind, and that's why they're allowing it. But it is very annoying. Okay, well, here's the link again. I thought I pinned it. Is it not pinned? Hold on. Here you go.
I see it.
All right, well, I'll put it in chat again, just in case. So yeah, it's annoying, but at the same time, because Ezra could be interpreting it completely incorrectly, which she probably is, and Alex is not here, obviously, to say, no, ma'am, that is not what I meant, lady. This is what I actually meant when I wrote that. You know what I mean? Yeah, well, I suppose you could. That is subject sort of to interpretation. But it is, I'm not a fan of putting the victim on trial. I just don't think it's a good, I think it's a weak defense, because the truth of the matter is we're all human beings. We're all flawed. We've all done some shit. And, it is what it is. So, all right, coolest reviews. I'm going to add you. Please do not ping on me. I really hope it's you. Okay, here we go.
That's working.
Hey. Are you there? Can you hear me? I hear me.
You okay over there, coolest?
Yeah.
How you doing? Welcome
Well,
to the panel.
I am doing awesome. Thank you.
Cool.
Let me make sure that my condenser mic is using.
Okay.
Well, oh, now I'm hearing a repeat.
That's because if you came in through YouTube, it'll open up a new window. Just either close the YouTube or just mute it.
All right.
All right, hold on. Let me see. I gotta find it. I don't want to hear me, Molson.
This is killing me.
It's very upsetting.
Yeah,
What
right.
did I do with it? I know what I sound like, and I don't like it.
All right, so my condenser mic is working. I just want to make sure, and I have to plug my headphones
cool.
directly into it, so that's why I was
All right.
confused for a second there. And this is my
No
very first
worries.
live panel, so just want to let you
Oh,
guys
well.
know that I'm breaking 2 major rules right now by doing
my.
this.
On a Friday too.
Well, I'm relatively sober, so it should be all right.
Okay, we should be fine. So what do you think so
Yeah,
far?
exactly.
Now I gotta find that email. I know I downloaded it, but I guess I didn't upload it to my drive. Hold on, give me just a second. So what are you thinking so far?
Who, me?
Yes, you.
About what?
We've all about what we've been discussing this whole time, the trial. I don't know, life.
Oh, I don't actually pay attention to any of that. I just, am a total spaz in the comment section if nobody's noticed. So I have no idea what anyone's talking about.
Oh
No, I'm
my
just kidding.
gosh.
I'm kidding.
I know you're not. I know you are.
All right. What do I think? I think that this is a very upsetting case, and for me, and I thought that's why I had to, join in and do this.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, what is it? I don't know. A lot of cases bother me. The Elizabeth Short case really bothers me. So.
Oh, yeah. The Black
so-
Dahlia.
Yep. So, I don't really know what I'm supposed to be doing. How are you, Jen?
I am doing very well. Thank you very much. You sent me 2. Wait a minute though, but I can't find the second one.
Oh, all
So
right. I can
hold on.
resend
I'll
it.
figure it out. No, it's all right. I'll figure it out. I feel
And how
like
are you, Momo?
Yeah, I'm good.
Right on. And I would ask how Molson Man is doing, but I don't see him now. He must be getting another Molson or something like that.
I just I feel like this case is particularly disturbing because it's always disturbing when somebody loses a life, right? But
Mm-hmm.
this is where I'm having a struggle. When she testifies about, I don't really care what she looks like when she testifies about Jason because she didn't do anything to him, right? He's still alive. But when she testifies about Alex, she smiles and it's if she has this like fond memory, right? But
Yeah.
this is a person who attacked her to the point where she had to completely unalive him in such a vicious manner, right? Because she attacked the thing. I mean, if you believe her story, right? She attacked his weapon, to quote some Sin City stuff. I don't know if anybody's familiar. I'm sure there's some of you guys who are. But yeah, like I feel that the way that she smiles and it's very difficult. I suppose there can be conflicting emotions, but she doesn't seem conflicted is the problem for me. I mean, you can be close to somebody and they can have done something to you and you feel a certain type of way, right? And you are upset about it or whatever. And I get that. But at the same time, for what you know what it is, can you resend it to me because it's not
Yeah,
letting
of
me
course.
upload it for some reason to the drive. I
and
have
let
to
me see.
be able to upload it to Google Drive in order to share it here.
Yeah. Okay. Here's how I
Please,
mute. Let me
please.
mute myself for a second while I do
Okay.
all this.
Okay, no worries. So, but yeah, I feel like you can have you can have conflicting emotions. That's true. And you can feel like different ways at the same time about the same person. And I get that. It's just that I feel that the more appropriate emotion, because everybody I think has experienced some trauma at some point or another by somebody that they cared about. And I feel like the appropriate emotion would actually be sadness at the fact that you did everything started out so great and it ended up so badly. Not
Or at least some sort of remorse.
laughter. Correct. Like she doesn't seem bothered or I mean look, the girl doesn't seem pressed or stressed and she should be. First of all, you're on trial for your life. However the jury decides is going to affect you for the rest of your life, period. You know? And I don't know, it's just there's something very off-putting about her entire demeanor that just feels so incredibly disingenuous. What you think, Mo?
I agree.
Can you want to like expand on that a little or
I agree with everything you said. If I was in the jury, I would be like, this doesn't seem like a girl that was attacked by this guy. She's like talking about him lovingly, and she comes across as fake as hell to me.
Yeah. That's what it is. Like even though she is attempting to convey that she's looking back at the beginning of their relationship with fond memories, it still doesn't feel real. It doesn't that emotion isn't coming across at all believable or at all sincere. It's very insincere.
I almost think that some people in the jury are looking at her like that because she does a giggle. It was earlier. She did a giggle to the jury and her whole face like changed. Like they were looking at her like, shut the hell up, bitch.
Like it was inappropriate.
Yeah. She's like, like, oops.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's just,
and I would say that I
Go
know
ahead.
a lot, and I mean a lot of sociopaths and narcissists throughout the years, and she nails the facial expressions. I mean, there's nothing in my mind that makes me think she's not.
I agree.
Yeah, because she's like,
Oh, there's Molson trying to sneak back in.
I need to hit send here. That's
I feel like what she's
sorry about the
doing
impediments.
is, you know what? Do you have it on your computer, Coolest Reviews?
Yeah, I just sent it to you.
You can, if you want to, I'll let you share your screen and you can show it.
I don't know how to do that.
Oh, okay. All right. Let me see if
I'm
I
not
got
very
it.
good with this kind of stuff. I know a lot
No
of editing
worries.
software and you know how to do artwork and stuff on computers, but as far as actually navigating the internet and whatnot,
No
I'm
worries.
going to plead the fifth.
All right. No worries. If this doesn't work, I'll figure out a different way. Yeah, it doesn't want to upload this. I don't know what the deal is. Hold on. Let me see if I can download it first. All right. It seems like what she's doing is she's mimicking what she thinks the correct emotion should be. That's the problem. That's why it's disingenuous, because she isn't feeling the feelings. She's trying to imitate the feeling that she thinks that she should have, and that's the problem. All right, I got it. That's
Yep.
what's wrong.
And that's what sociopaths do. I mean,
Yes.
they're masters at it.
Because she doesn't feel that, so she has no way of genuinely coming across as having that being a genuine emotion for her, and that's why it comes across as so fake, because she's relatively young as a what'd you call her, a psycho or a sociopath? Sociopath. She's relatively young in the sociopath game and hasn't quite mastered the mask quite yet. She was stopped quite early by pulling this bullshit. frankly, because Ted Bundy was good at it. And the reason he was good at it for so long, and he wasn't incredibly good looking, and he wasn't incredibly, smart or any of the other crap that like everybody thinks of when they think of Ted Bundy. Most of that stuff is like hyped. But the truth of the matter is that he became a chameleon. He was very good at pretending to be what he was not. That's the difference. She has not perfected that part yet. She's young, and that's just the truth. Thank God they stopped her before she could do any more damage, because she's scary. All right. So let me add this right quick for you guys to see Coolest Reviews made this. All right, hang on. So yeah, she's I don't know, something else.
Oh, and hi to everyone in the chat. I don't always type out everybody's name, but I would if I had the energy. Just
It's
so you guys know.
hard.
I know. I'm
hard.
trying to read the chat. I'm trying to watch the footage and listen to what you say. And when Momo's on or Molson Man, who's ever's on, I don't know.
It's a lot.
I am ADHD, but I still have a hard time keeping up with all that,
It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot for me to do. It's a lot for me to even, sometimes it's hard for me to, there's a lot of things I want to say that I feel like might be a little like too harsh or inappropriate. Right? You know what I mean? So I'm like, no, this is not the time. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not
I have
right.
a wicked sense of humor. I'm not sure if it's appropriate for YouTube. And my CR character on Coolest Reviews, he isn't me. He's just a cartoon character that I wrote and read for. It's not like I feel like it's me.
Right. I get what you mean. We all love
That's
this.
good.
I love it.
Oh, I actually drew a few other ones, and they have various taglines.
I like this one.
Playing around, but I thought this was actually the most clever one out of all of them.
Yeah, I like this one.
Even though
I like
Mengele
it too.
spelled wrong, technically.
Coolest Reviews drew this. Lupe, he made this. It is really good. You giving Ezra a run for your money. My God, nobody reminded me today. I totally freaking forgot to make a thing for her artwork. I promise you I will do it tomorrow.
Oh, did you find some? I only found one.
I did not find any. Allie79 found it for me.
Well, thank you, Allie. That's awesome.
She sent me a ton of it. And I actually think her artwork is quite good.
But
really? I interpret it a completely different way than Mo or Allie or anybody else. I saw something different in it than they did, which is, that's what art is. It is subjective. I actually thought she was quite good as an artist, but she should not talk. That's her flaw. She can draw well. She should shut the fuck up.
Well, she can't draw circles.
Do you just mean that she incriminates herself, or that she has a very unpleasant voice?
It's not even her voice. It's the shit that comes out of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, she actually, this is the thing that is so interesting to me about Ezra. She is a very pretty girl and was seemingly had potential, especially as an artist. And I will say this. I know what you mean and why you say the thing you say about the circles, Mo, but she wasn't drawing a literal bicycle. She was drawing, I don't know how to explain it, like her interpretation of a bicycle. And that, if you think about her relationship with Jason and the way it was, it's his bike. So why would it be correct? Why wouldn't it be messed up? That's how I took it.
I was recording today, and she lifts her page up, and you can see all her doodles. I'll have to go back and get a screenshot of it, because we won't play that video here. I think it was one of the outside the presence of the jury.
We'll play it. If they show it. Yeah, I'll play it.
Well, it's just a quick thing, so I'll just get a screenshot of it. And you can add it to your thing.
Okay.
That you're gonna make.
Yeah, I'll add it. Yeah, because I want you guys to see. I'm not gonna say anything about other than the bicycle, but because there's other artwork, and I actually think that I think as an artist, she's actually quite good. Really, I do.
Yeah, I think
Um,
she's good too.
I just think that I'm very curious as to hear what you guys think of the drawings that Allie was able to find for us, because I had a completely different interpretation um, of why she drew what she drew and the way she drew it. She does a little. Thank you. That's I couldn't quite put a like I couldn't put my finger on it, but yes, she does remind me of the Red Dragon because well, his character, I mean, I guess he tried to become the Red Dragon. But yeah, because it's like she's the irony of Alex and her very first conversation being about cannibalism, metaphorical cannibalism, meaning, one human being being all consuming to another human being, is ironic that that would be their first um, conversation, that would be the spark, as it were, because she consumed him clearly in a I mean, she didn't actually eat him, but she did consume his essence in the fact that he is no longer alive. And now we're listening to what she remembers of him, right? Instead of him. And so I think it's interesting that that was the first conversation that they had. It's almost, if this were some kind of novel, it would be foreshadowing
I
a
would be
little bit.
fuming if I was the grandmother in court.
Yeah.
Just listening to her read his writings, I'd be mad.
I have to say that when victims, the victims' families are allowed to be in court to listen, the fact that, hey, recliner detective, the fact that they can exercise their restraint to sit in that audience and listen, I don't know how they do it. I don't know if I could.
Right?
I just find it interesting that that was their first conversation.
Yeah, how inappropriate was that?
Yeah, but in the end, it ended up being what ended up happening. You know what I mean?
Well, not to any spoiler alerts, but she was convicted, right? I mean,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
that's no big secret.
No, no.
I haven't been watching the case either. I've been following along with you, and then I missed the last few days, so not exactly sure what I missed. At one point, I was listening, but it was after work. I was tired. My good friend Ezra Brooks was helping me out, so I don't even think I retained much. So, so yeah,
Well,
I've kind of missed the last few days, but
all we
I'm
covered
glad.
yesterday was forensics, so it wasn't like
Oh,
anything earth shattering.
I'll have to go back and watch it because
You
I do love
should.
the
You should.
forensic.
Some of it's interesting. I went like I picked out the good parts, the most interesting testimony of the
Nice.
forensics. Yeah, so it's not like, because there's a lot of it, but I picked out the important parts to play.
All right, that sounds great. I will definitely have to check that out at some point.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it was more. I think it began as admiration, but then I think it got twisted into something else, and I think that she was. When I hear her read his writing, to me, she sounds, and then when I hear her testify, the words that she chooses to use, her cadence, all of it, she's attempting to come across as this out of the box, higher level thinking person. And the truth is it again falls very flat and comes across disingenuous. I wish that whatever Ezra is, whoever she is, whatever kind of person she wants to be, she should just be that and that and stop trying to be other people or be what she thinks she wants to be. Just be who the fuck you are. And
Right.
you know, but do it away from society, because you're obviously, you know, homicidal. So you
Oh,
need
she's
to,
deranged, like
yeah.
the David Bowie song.
Yeah, but I feel like I she has a talent for art, okay, but she doesn't have a talent for people. And I think from what I get from the testimony of Alex's, not, I mean, it's difficult for you to, you know, I mean, of course, the mom and the grandma are going to say nice things about about their son and their grandson. Not that it doesn't mean that it's not true. It's just it's the mom and the Mima. But his friends, the way that they spoke about him, he was a good, you know, although he could be okay alone, he also was a kind person. And it seemed to me that Ezra wanted to be the type of person that he was and also be a higher level thinker, and she just wasn't capable. And it just comes across as, again, I can't stress enough the irony. I guess it's not really irony. It's not really the definition of irony. I just find it fascinating that their first conversation was about metaphorical cannibalism, because when she unalived him, whether she did, it doesn't even matter whether it was intentional or out of self-defense. At the end of the day, her name and his name are going to be forever tied together. So she did, in a way, consume him. And I just find that so fascinating that that was their first conversation. It was definitely foreshadowing. And
Yeah,
there's some
I
higher level
agree.
thinking for you.
I agree with exactly what you said and thought it was a very, very strange choice. And just completely inappropriate to have her read his poetry. I'm still processing it, but
Yeah. Well, the thing is that it's the defense that's having her read it, right? So they're going to pick the passages or the writings that that tell the story they want to be told. And they've got Ezra up there looking like a whole deer in the headlights, you know, like this babe in the woods. And they have and she's surrounded by these lecherous men in the form of medic Jason Roger, who also I forget what is his Instagram handle, something about a wolf, right? And then Alex, who they're trying to portray as having equating violence and intimacy together. And now she's just, you know, she's like Bambi surrounded by, or hell, let's go even further, Little Red Riding Hood surrounded by nothing but big bad wolves out in the woods, just trying to take her basket of goodies to Mima's house. And here they come. All she wanted to do is go to that festival, and all Jason did was sigh, and boom, all the things happened. Before you know
She
it, she's all the way caught up, you know?
she reminds me so much of Gypsy.
Oh, you think so?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
I'm
I don't
scrolling
know.
through the chat now. Thank you, everyone. I wasn't paying attention to the chat, but now I am. Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much.
I guess I can see why you would say that, but I disagree. I think she does possess some traits that are similar to Gypsy because they're both manipulative, but I think that's about as far as it goes. I think if you're, I think you, I feel like you are meaning it because, I don't know. I just don't, I don't know. I do see some similarities, but, at the end of the day, Ezra did her own dirty work and Gypsy didn't. You know what I
Right.
mean?
I
So
just
I
mean
do
that victim mentality.
see, I feel like that I don't, this is, I don't think that Ezra has a victim mentality. I think that the defense, her lawyers, want her to testify about times when she was a victim of something. Look, the truth of the matter is you can put any number of people. You can take 100 people and put them on the stand and tell them to ask them to testify about a time where they were a victim. And 99 of them are going to be able to recall an incident. And that's what they're doing. I don't think that she regards herself as a victim. I think that I think it's something different for her, but not a victim.
I don't think she regards herself as one. I think she wants other people to think of her as one.
I don't
And
think
I think she likes the attention of being one.
she reminds me more of I don't know if a victim is the right word for me, in my opinion. And we could both be wrong, or you could be right and I could be wrong. I feel like for her,
Well, I don't think
it's
either of us are wrong.
I think it's less about being, it's not a victim. It's more like she wants the other person to think that she's helpless and therefore submissive, but all the while she's the one really pulling the strings. That's very different. That's what I think she does. I think
Yeah, and
that
that's
she
like
wants,
Gypsy.
no, Gypsy one. No. Gypsy's is different. Gypsy didn't. No. No. Gypsy wanted people to view her literally as a
Calm
victim.
down.
Gypsy
No.
literally wanted to be a victim. Ezra wants to come across as the helpless, the I just need help. Like, I don't have a place to stay, and I just noticed you did this really deep sigh, so let me pretend like I'm really caring about what you are sighing about, but really I need a place to stay. And where did she end up? In his house. You know what I mean? So she's manipulative in that way, as if she's helpless. Gypsy wanted to literally come across, and still does, as as a complete victim. Like, she doesn't know things because of what her mother did to her. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I think. But I mean, she does thrive on getting attention, though. She does.
Oh, absolutely. I bet she is causing havoc in that prison.
Yes, I'm sure. I'm sure. Because that's something that a lot of people don't know about Gypsy Rose Blanchard. She gets in trouble quite, not anymore, but she did get in trouble quite frequently in prison for breaking the rules. And they weren't
Mm-hmm.
big rules. See, that's not how Gypsy rolls. Gypsy breaks the small rules. And her justification is, well, I broke this, like Chris Watts giving what's his name? Dylan, the underwear and all of the Vaseline and the lotion, because it's super dry in Wisconsin and you really need to layer up for moisture, because he was helping somebody. And that's what Gypsy says. Well, I gave my commissary money, or I did this, that, or the third, because this person needed help.
Well, Jen, I live in a very dry climate, and I can attest to that. You got to have some Vaseline or lotion or something.
But both.
You
But
can
both.
use both. You can have both.
No, both at the same time, because Dylan had an extensive amount of lotion and
Oh wow!
Vaseline.
What a gracious host.
I thought so. I mean, he's just trying to look. Chris Watts is the welcome wagon at Dodge Correctional, and yes, Molson man, she's due. And
Come on,
she's due to be released soon. Yeah, next year. So yeah, I think that exactly. And Allie, I think that that's the problem. See, this is where the victimhood comes in. I think that Jason's roommates, I agree with Allie, saw right through her, as if she were as transparent as that thing they put on the Elmo. Okay.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
And what I think she ended up doing is set up and stage situations where she could be helpless and need to be taken care of. It was a way to lure Jason back in. And the thing is, I don't even think she actually wanted Jason. I just think she wanted to know that she could get him back if she wanted to. And that was it. That's the game. I've been thinking
Mhm.
about this for quite some time. I've been pondering what her end game was. And I think she enjoys playing people against each other.
Yeah, I agree totally.
She's a manipulator.
So she's a
Yeah.
covert narcissist.
I don't know if I don't feel like Dr. B would be better because I don't actually I probably have my own personality disorder, and that's what makes me not capable of talking about other people's.
Yeah, you have a personality disorder. It's called being hilarious.
Thank you. I try. I just
It,
feel
it,
like
it will get you in trouble.
it has gotten me in trouble. Are you kidding me? Gets me
Oh,
in
I know.
trouble all the time.
I try not to be a smartass, and that's just not happening. I'm like addicted to being clever. I'm like in my head, I'm like, shut up, don't say that. Nobody's going to appreciate it. But then I say it out loud anyway,
I mean,
I do that too. I get in trouble at work all the time for it.
I saw a meme the other day in my photos. It's an older one that I have. Something about when I was in school, my teacher used to move my chair, my desk all the time, and I'd be like, "I'm going to be a clown over here too." And that's pretty much
me too. And I'd end up in the hallway eventually because I ran out of rooms to where to move me.
I didn't actually ever have to move rooms. I wasn't that much of a clown.
I meant places, but
yeah,
yeah,
I only
I
had to
got
move
kicked
the
out
desks.
of class.
Oh, poor Mo. Yeah,
Well, they'd move me all around the classroom until there was nowhere else to go besides outside.
Mo will be having her education and on the playground today because she on the sidewalk outside of the classroom because she
sometimes you
can't
learn
act
your
right.
best lessons there.
Yeah, I learned all my best lessons, the stuff that you need to take with you. Like, look, do I know geometry? Yeah, I know some geometry. All right. But let me tell you what I learned, and it's the most important stuff. The rules of the playground. Like, you don't bring mamas into it. Sometimes in life, everybody takes a beating, and sometimes, and that you also give one every once in a while too. Don't snitch, that kind of stuff.
Hey, where's Kitty?
Hey, where's Kenny? Good to see you. I haven't seen you in a while. Wilson, man, time out. Where's Kenny due to tardiness? No, just kidding.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, I mean, like,
Somebody's mentioned me in the comments here.
Hey, Jody, it's cool. Good
A
to
radio
see
DJ
ya.
or anything, you have a broadcast voice. It's smooth AF. I don't know what we can say on YouTube. Well,
You
thank
can
you.
say as fuck. Go ahead.
Okay, excellent. Amelia Sparkles. Okay, I try to keep track of everybody in the chat and what they've said and everything. Yeah,
Aw.
I'm trying here.
You do have a good voice.
Well, thank you. I do voice work, but
But you're in
that's
the
kind of-
perfect line of work because you have a great voice.
Well, thank you. One of these days I'm going to get paid for it, but I've done a lot of voice work, so
Well, that's awesome.
want to be like
That's
the next Mike
awesome.
Rowe or something.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, that's just my aspirations. Not saying that I will be.
Well, look, I say put it out there in the universe and work on it. You can do it. I totally believe in that. You can make shit happen.
Definitely. I believe that too. And when you say you don't know geometry, I was cringing because I am super into the sacred geometry stuff. So, like, Jen,
Oh, I don't
don't
know.
diss the
Let me
geometry.
say this. I don't know high school geometry. All right. Like the shit they taught you. But I was excellent at algebra.
Okay.
And I just couldn't do geometry mainly because my teacher was going through I get it better. And I'm like more, I mean, I understood it then, but I sympathize more now. She was going through the change. And I remember Miss Bryant, bless her heart. She was the most gorgeous woman a teacher I've ever seen. She was beautiful and she was incredibly smart, but she was going through the change, and bless her heart, she would be standing at that whiteboard having a whole ass hot flash and just couldn't deal with it. So she was gone a lot. And at the second, I passed the first semester because I sat, Daniel Tapia sat behind me and he used to help me out. And I'll never forget, she sent me and Daniel to the principal's office one time because he was helping me. And I was like, well, you're not teaching me, so how else am I going to learn? Boom. Me and Daniel principal's office. And I told the principal, look, I don't know what this lady's deal is, but here's the deal. None of us are learning shit. So anyway, I had to do the second semester in summer school, which I also passed because the girl that sat in front and behind me graded all my papers. And so she just fixed it for me. The stuff I got wrong. She was just, I mean, I'll never forget Mrs. Bryant. She was so pretty. She had the most beautiful skin I've ever seen. She was a pretty girl, pretty woman. But yeah, I've never seen a teacher that looked like that. All my teachers were like, you know, mostly PE coaches. So like, you know, they had their fucking shirts tucked into their waistband, you know, or they wore the, you know, those like weird, they're shorts, but then they're the athletic shorts, you know, so they're too short for any guy to be wearing to school. But then the, like the socks pulled up. It's just bad news bears. And then in the wintertime, they had their shirt tucked into their sweatpants, and they were all coaches. And so like you could just kick it with them, but you didn't learn anything really. I mean, I did, but I didn't, you know what I'm saying? But she was just, you know, now that I know what she was going through, like from personal experience, I feel awful that I ever was impatient. I'm sorry, Miss Bryant, if you're out there in the world and somebody knows you and remembers you from Bowie High School teaching geometry. I'd like to apologize for being impatient with you and saying, well, you're not teaching us. I apologize. That was very rude of me, and I feel awful because now I know what you were suffering through, and it's a fucking nightmare. I wouldn't want to teach high school kids either. I would have walked out of class too. Bless her heart. But yeah. So that's the kind of stuff I learned. Rules of the playground.
I have a similar story.
Tell it.
One time when I was, I don't remember first, you know, something like that. And I don't know, some teacher caught like breaking one of the rules. Stupid. You weren't allowed to be on the snow hill unless you own snow pants, and just some thing. And
yeah, random arbitrary rule.
Caught me, and she was like, "One day, I'm gonna like break."
Oh, you're breaking up. Coolest reviews.
Yeah, and are you sure? Because that was my boy. No.
That was your robot voice. You're giving us an impression.
Me or what?
Huh? Yeah, you're breaking up. I can't understand you. Uh-oh. I just couldn't do geometry. And, you know, when I met my husband, I don't know how we got talking about it. You know, when you're first together, you don't run out of things to say to each other, right? But like after so many, and we've said everything, I think, at this point. No, just kidding. We still talk all the time. But we were talking about math, and I was telling him about geometry, and he's like, what? Geometry was so easy. I would have helped you in class. You would have not helped me in class because you wouldn't have been in class because you ditched. Stop playing. You wouldn't have been able to help me. I would have helped you with your homework. You know, you would have helped yourself to something else, not homework, weirdo. But yeah. Mo, are you even still there? What is going on? Can y'all hear me?
I had to go potty.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Could have texted me and let me know. I can't hear Coolest Reviews, and I don't know if I should keep going. And but yeah,
I don't even see anything but a black square.
Well, I think he has his camera on, but he hasn't. But he's got it covered. So yeah, geometry was just not my jam. I wasn't good at it, but I was damn good at fucking algebra. I was really good at it. So yeah, Mo is in detention again. Listen, you can't be handing out no detention, Molson, man, because ain't nobody gave you a hall pass to leave the class. every time I have Netflix on now, the first like what is that suggestion, I guess, is the original 1984 Nightmare on Elm Street, and they always play that clip in the hall with Nancy, where the hall monitor's dressed up like Freddy and says, "Where's your hall pass?" And here comes Nancy. "Screw your hall pass, Heather Langenkamp." Constantly, I'm forever a rebel. So yeah. All right, you guys, I think we should finish it up. We don't have too much of Ezra to go. Let's see. Can y'all see the look that the guy in the black jacket and the gray tie behind the lawyer, the side eye, where's he looking? Because I don't feel like he's looking at his laptop. Maybe he is, and I just can't see. It just it looks like he's side eyeing. Okay, here we go. We feel you, bro. I'm side eyeing
Thank you, Amy. You're always so sweet.
What happened?
His discussions
Oh wait,
with you?
let me look because I was on the other. Ah, thank you, Amy. Oh, thank you so much, sweetie. You're the best. Kiss that little baby girl. Sweet baby. All right. All right, here we go. I'd be side-eyeing too. Ezra's already on my nerves. All right, here we go.
Often, yes.
And did he write about that in some of his other essays?
Yes.
This is an essay going back to August of 2017. What's the name of this essay
Dead to Me.
and the date?
August 6th, 2017.
Is the typed version the same as the handwritten?
Yes.
What? Where's Kenny? You don't want to hear from Ezra? What are you talking about? Well, we're going to cover the
And looking at.
I forgot his name already. It
This
starts
is
with
to
a
the right
T.
place. 1 minute. To say I'm not great at using this. Oh no.
I forgot too.
Andrew
This essay.
Molson
Can you
knows.
just read
Molson, what's his
the
name?
first sentence
Andrew
of that
something?
paragraph?
That's the case
Because
we're doing
you are
next.
dead to me. This love
that
fails
was
to
10.
truly be truly erotic
no.
now, though it may have.
Hold on,
been.
I Googled it. So it'll be in my
Instead, we are
search
speaking
history.
of cannibalism.
All right. So besides cannibalism in his writings, aside from that, this is in August. We've already talked about
Anthony
it.
Tote.
Yes.
Tote.
Did he continue
Tote.
to have these discussions with you
That's
about
it, Anthony
cannibalism
Tote.
beyond writing about them?
All of the time, yes.
What would he did his expressions or his talks about
All
cannibalism
right, I'll be right
go
back.
beyond the
Behave.
esoteric or the
Mainly you, Mo.
philosophical from what you heard from him?
Yes.
Why don't you tell us about that?
It went beyond philosophy at points when we would discuss erotics of cannibalism, and cannibalism in the sense of individuals in history and through the past and even art.
Wait a second. What's going on with Allie? Hold on, let me scroll up.
So sorry, Allie.
Oh, I'm sorry, Allie. I'm sorry. I know that's hard. I'm sorry. Okay, here we go. Now I don't know how to segue that at all, so I'm just going to be incredibly awkward. Here we go.
Artists who have partaken in cannibalism because of their ultimate desire to consume that individual, to consume that individual's power, or to consume that individual so that that person they had loved would never leave them.
So, in other words, I'm not quite understanding what you mean. The person that they loved would never leave them. Could you just explain a little bit more what
Yes.
Alex told you and what he meant about that?
We specifically spoke of individuals, lovers, that partook in cannibalism, and he consumed his partner so that in essence, by consuming his partner, eating him, because he was passed away, he was never away from him. He had absorbed his essence.
What is the title of this essay
Violation,
and the date?
August 9th, 2017.
So again, is he writing about you in this essay?
No.
Okay, so I'm going to show you just a brief part of this essay. In this essay, is he discussing a prior relationship with him?
Yes.
All right. can you read this where it says distract me?
Yes, distract me is dehumanizing, unhuman. It is the request of a mind to flesh. It is cannibalism. The words haunt me, confirming that you had died to me. I was lift with a revenant. A facsimile?
Facsimile?
A facsimile of a person who spoke of a warm caress while offering a vampire touch.
Now, in that essay, when he said I was lift with a revenant, first of all, in your discussions with him, was lift actually intended to be left? I was left with a revenant?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I'm asking about. All right. And in that discussion, can you explain what a revenant, or not what it is necessarily, but what Alex said a revenant was?
Yes, we often talked about a revenant. When we would speak of a revenant or revenant, we would discuss how essentially what a revenant is an individual come back from the dead, a specter or a ghost of sorts. They have come back to do unfinished business, or it is called like retribution, or it's unfinished business essentially is what a revenant comes back for. It was a topic we often talked about because he would tell me he considered himself a revenant.
And again, from Exhibit 697, I'm showing you another essay.
Yes.
And can you tell the jury what the title, why don't you tell me what the title is here of this essay and the date?
From the Past, Memories, November 2017, reworked from July 24th, 2017.
Again, is the typed the same as the handwritten?
Yes.
I'm going to ask you to read it from where it says, I know now. It just the next few sentences.
I know now that you wanted to change me and be changed by me. You asked for my
I'm
flesh.
sorry, I had that little.
Thank you. You asked for my flesh and offered me yours, but so that we could give and receive back new flesh. I am yours, become mine. I mistook the innocent play, your desire for my hunger. I saw cannibalism where you asked to be seen erotically.
Okay, let's stop there. When he says, I saw cannibalism, when you asked to be seen erotically, do you know what he's writing about?
Objection calls for speculation.
Sustained.
Did you discuss with Alex what he was writing about?
Yes.
Why don't you tell us what that was about?
When I discussed this with Alex, he was speaking of, he was taking the other person in, he was consuming them wholly. Where they wanted to be seen erotically, lovingly, he was seeing them as something to take in, to possess.
Did Alex tell you whether or not that reference was about you?
Yes.
And what did he say?
He told me that it was in reference of me because of parallels of someone he was with in the past.
I'm going to show you again the beginning of the same essay.
Yes.
Let me get it to this. Can you read this?
I am warm. I am kind. I am good. When did I become so dull inside? I am not warm. I am so gloomy. I am not kind. I am so distant. I'm not good. I'm aberrant.
Aberrant, is that aberrant?
Aberrant.
Okay.
I have gotten too good at being these things. Am I seen as a person anymore? They aren't masks, though.
All right, let me ask you about there where he's saying he's aberrant and it's not a mask. Can you explain, or did Alex discuss with you what he meant by that?
He discussed with me about masks often.
1 minute, please. All right, and can you tell me what he would tell you about masks? Or not tell me, tell all of us.
Yes. What he told me about masks is that he often seen others and he often felt himself that he had to put on a mask to present himself a certain way so that when he was out in public or when he was at work, he would put on a certain face. And often he felt that it was always hard to always have to wear a mask with certain people.
All right, in the same essay, I'm
Yes.
going to go to one more area. All right, and I'll direct you over to the words my touch. Can you see that?
Yes, I can.
Okay, why don't you read that?
My touch is a request. Feel nothing but me. Let me give death a face to you. Has my body ever taken someone's from there and gave it back different? I remember holding her with my coat, warming her already too human face. Did it consume her as she did me? Or was my futile attempt to possess but kindling? I am not warm, but I can offer myself to your blaze.
Okay, I'll let you to stop there. Again, did Alex discuss with you what he meant? And I want to ask specifically about where he says, let me give death a face to you. Did he talk about that with you?
He did talk about that with me.
And what did he mean?
He wasn't talking about death as in looking at the other individual and he's seen death. He was, in essence, speaking of how loving that individual was as death. It's a hard thing to just outright and say.
Okay. I want to ask you about the sexual aspects of your relationship with Alex during this time, meaning late October, November, December. All right. So during this period of time, can you tell us some of the, and I know it's very intimate, but some of the details of your sexuality or the sexuality of your sex between you and Alex Woodworth?
Alex and I, when we began our relationship, sex was very vanilla, I can say.
What does vanilla mean?
Well,
In case people haven't heard that expression.
what vanilla means is that it was your average sex. It was missionary. You're what a lot of people would describe as normal sex.
Okay. And during this period of time, was there some progression from the pure vanilla?
Oh,
into
please hold.
some
I have the
differences
best
early
meme
now,
for this.
November, December?
Yes, there were. I encouraged him to explore himself and things he might want. And we started practicing and doing these new things that he wanted to express himself.
Okay, first of all, in terms of sexual position, was there a preferred sexual position from Alex's that Alex told you he preferred?
Yes.
What was that?
It was called prone, as he informed me. And
Were you face to face during sex?
no, rarely.
Okay. What position were you in?
From behind is what you can call it. He would often express this desire for it.
And were there objects he would use that impaired your sight at all?
Yes, he preferred to have my glasses off and he enjoyed to blindfold me.
Was there anything specific about lightness versus darkness?
Yes, he liked it to be either soft light, a candle, or he preferred it to be absolutely dark. He enjoyed kind of the mystery of it all in the dark.
How did you feel about that?
I thought it was interesting and exciting, and I also felt I am very visually impaired without my glasses, so I get a little uncomfortable at times without them.
So let me ask this. Did Alex refer to you as a boy?
Yes.
Do you know why he referred to you as a boy? Did he tell you why?
Yes.
Can you tell us about that?
Objection, relevance.
I'm going to go ahead. Again, there's a limited purpose.
Yes, this
so I
is
hope
for
that you're within
her
that.
feelings.
Okay.
Yeah, I think this has been out there quite a bit already in front of
All
the
right.
jury. All right. What were your feelings, or what did he tell you about him referring to you as a boy?
Well, as our relationship progressed, I told him about how I identified in the past as almost strictly masculine. And he preferred that I presented myself in a masculine way. He often told me how confident I looked and how much he was attracted to me because he could call me a boy, his boy, and present that way.
Did you present yourself as a male to Alex?
Yes, I did.
What about the word boy specifically? How did you feel about his use of the word boy?
The word boy specifically, at first it was gender, as you can call it, but then the word became more possessive. I was his boy. It felt objectifying at times.
And what do you mean by objectifying?
Coolest
I felt
reviews. It says your
As if I was an object, that I was
devices are not
Ezra
connected.
McCandless, essentially.
You have
but I
to
was
go
just
in your
his boy.
settings, and there we go.
Judge, I need a break. I'm sorry. I would like to take a short break. I need to take a short break.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a 10-minute recess. And,
Oh, I
so
wonder
let's
what
do
that was about.
All rise.
Ms. McCandless, you have referred to
She must have had a potty too.
essays
Or a hot
from
flash.
a book called Personal Notes and Research Ideas.
Yes.
And
Okay.
I inadvertently, I didn't realize original was not in evidence. So I'm showing you what's been marked, oops, in exhibit 698.
Yes.
Is that the orange notebook that contains those essays you've testified about?
Yes.
Thank
No
you.
objection to its submission, Your Honor.
All right. And what's that, exhibit 698?
Yes.
Okay. Exhibit 698 will be received, again, subject to court's pretrial rulings.
Now, I'm also been showing you what's previously marked as number, I believe, 653. Just want to make sure. And this is a copy of the book, the original of the book called Extra Scriber.
Yes.
I'm going to ask you to please turn to page 32 in this book, or maybe I'll do it for you. Just to make it. So first of all, are there page numbers at the bottom of each page?
Yes.
All right. On page 32, do you see a doodle at the bottom of that
A
page?
doodle?
Yes.
What is that doodle?
Sorry. This doodle is a dog.
Okay, who drew it?
I did.
Do you remember when you drew it?
Yes.
Can you tell the jury when you drew it?
That's for you,
I drew it when
Ezra.
we were together sharing a cup of coffee, and he was writing, and I was reading as he was writing.
All right. And then turning to page 41 in the journal, is there a doodle at the bottom of page 41?
Yes.
And when did you doodle that?
I doodled this when we were together yet again, and it's a bug of sorts.
All right. And then turning to page 181. At the bottom of page 181, is there another doodle?
Yes, there is.
And when did you doodle that?
Hey,
I doodled this yet again when we
anaphylaxis.
were spending time together, and he was explaining to me, and we were talking back and forth about this essay.
Okay, thank you. I don't have any further questions about your doodles.
Thank you.
In Extra Scriber. Right. I'm showing you what's been marked as exhibit 651. Is this another journal of
Yes.
Alex Woodworth?
Yes.
And just what's the name of that journal?
This journal, its notes, October 19th, 2017 through Dream Tree, Simple and Elegant.
And turning to the first page, is there a doodle at the bottom of that page?
Yes.
Did you draw that?
Yes.
Do you remember when you drew it?
Yes, I remember when he asked me to read this, and I drew a pumpkin with some hearts.
Page 25. Is there a doodle on page 25?
Yes, a cat.
All right, page 27. Is there a doodle on page 27?
Yes, a doodle of a peach.
Page 32?
We can't see her Google's. I mean,
Oh,
her
sorry.
doodle.
Well, sorry.
Yes, this is a fox.
Hold on.
And page
What does
35?
the fox say? Do, 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 do.
Yes,
Sorry.
there's a doodle.
All right, and
Hold
were
on,
all
I'll
of those
rewind it
doodles
for you
drawn
guys.
when you were
I didn't
with
realize they were showing the
Alex Woodworth?
doodles.
I got sent to the guidance counselor in 4th grade for doodling.
What did
I'm
you
showing
doodle?
what's been marked as exhibit 651.
Nothing.
Is this another journal of
Just doodle.
Yes.
Alex Woodworth?
Yes.
And just
I got in
what's the
trouble
name of that
because I
journal?
realized
This journal, its notes,
if you
October
make
19th,
a
2017
W,
through Dream
but
Tree,
you don't
Tree, Simple and
make it
Elegant.
pointing
And
at
turning
the
to
bottom,
first page,
it
is
looks
there
like
doodle
a
at the bottom
butt,
of
and
that
I
page?
drew that,
Yes.
and
Did you
yeah.
draw that?
I got in
Yes.
Do you
trouble.
remember when you drew it?
Yes, I remember when he asked me to read this, and I drew a pumpkin with some hearts.
Page 25. Is there a doodle on page 25?
Yes, a cat.
All right, page 27.
I'm assuming the reason they're trying to do this
there a
is
doodle on
to
page 27?
establish
Yes,
that
a doodle
she
of a peach.
Page 32.
had access to his journals and therefore is in a good position to discuss what
Yes,
the meaning
this
of
is a
his
fox.
writings are.
And page 35.
Yes, there's a doodle.
All right, and were all of those doodles drawn when you were with Alex Woodworth? At times he was talking about the pages on the journal?
Yes.
I'm going to show you what was previously marked.
Allie, I knew somebody was going to say it. I'm so glad it was you.
Oh, the only Santa? Okay, I'm going to show you this book. Let me try and get the whole book in. Oops.
I really was
I'm not
Molson.
great at this. Okay. Okay, I've been showing you what's been previously been marked. I think as exhibit number
Oh,
654.
Trigger warning. I didn't realize this
what
was
is this?
happening. Sorry,
This
you
is from
guys.
Kierkegaard, Fear and Trembling.
this particular book,
Mo was a whole
did
heathen
Alex discuss this book with you much?
in school,
We
Molson, man.
discussed it
You should hear the
often,
stories she
and we
tells.
discussed it the most during very intimate moments of our relationship.
I
want
do.
you to explain to the jury what you mean by him discussing them during intimate moments in your
Ted
relationship.
Nugent.
This book was the book he would read from as we were having sex, and he would read passages from this book.
Was there another book he also read passages from when you were engaged in sex with Alex?
Yes, he would read
Wait a
from
minute.
Caputo.
Wait.
Do you know what the name of that book is?
Espera.
Hoping Against Hope.
Espera. Okay. Thank you, Allie, because that was in my brain as well. I consider myself to be open and not a pearl clutcher. And I've done a lot of different things whilst engaged in intimacy. But let me just say, reading a book, reading anything, clearly not the directions on a condom, or I wouldn't have 4 children. I've never read anything during the boom boom. So this is too much. All right, here we go.
I think that we were talking about Alex referring to you as boy a little bit earlier.
Yes.
Did he also
not
write
even
about
say
that in his
anything.
journals?
Please,
did,
yeah,
yes.
that's not. It's just funny.
And I'm going to show you an essay from his journals. That's, a minute, I'm sorry, I'm trying to get the right part. All right.
I'm not sure because clearly I didn't take medic Jason Roger advice to go to a delicate or no tender venue.
We're talking about boy, and I'm going to show you a journal entry and ask you what the name of that entry is.
Yes. When I Lost Myself, November 29th through 30th, 2017.
Is it fair to say this is a pretty long essay?
Yes.
Okay. And have you looked at the handwritten compared to the typed, and are they the same?
Yes, I have.
Welcome back, Coolest Reviews.
Oh, thanks, Jen. Can you guys hear me now?
Oh,
How many
yeah.
typed pages are there?
Oh, okay. Oh, you've been hearing the impact and background noise. So
There are 31 typed
mute
pages.
my microphone.
Oh,
You mean
okay.
there are 5 typed pages, number 20?
Oh.
31? Is
Yes.
that a mistake?
You see what I mean?
I was reading the bottom number
Okay.
instead of counting, but there are 5.
Intending to come across as
I'm not going to go
highly
through this whole essay
intelligent
with
and
you.
intellectual
I
is a
just
better
want to ask
word.
you one thing that's in the essay.
Hey, Jen, how dare you say that? I always try
On
to
the
sound
second
like
to
a
last page, or
dumbass.
page 4 of the typed version of the essay, can you please
Get
read?
people to
Stop
drop their
it.
guard.
I do
That's
not
what
mean
I do.
to say
Yeah,
that
right.
he is
I use
irrational for
humor
not
to
running away
lure
with me.
you in.
Rather, I mean
Yeah,
his
it's a good
hopes for
strategy.
potential. I fail to
It's the
understand
best
his love
strategy,
for
I
an
find.
abusive partner, at least in ways specifically understand the desire for stability. All the more so because of his friendships are mediated by this relationship. To give up his current partner is to risk losing his friends. Furthermore, I understand his feelings of guilty. This issue is my lack of sympathy. I do not see what there is to feel guilty about. He cannot do as he wants, and thus there is no love. If he did as he wanted, even without doing evil, the relationship would end. There is no love. Love is not happening, and yet he loves. I do not understand, but still I hope to be understanding.
Did Alex Woodworth discuss this journal entry with you?
Yes.
And that particular part, which is referenced, what did he say to you about that?
Well, when he was writing this very long journal, he pointed this out that he had been writing about me. And I noticed that instead of saying as you might, she or her, he was saying my masculine pronoun, his, him. He was talking about kind of his desires for our relationship and how he desired for my other relationship to end.
And I think, okay, I'll do that later. Was there a particular phrase that Alex, a philosophical phrase that Alex frequently used?
Yes, he would often say to me, love and do as you will.
And in your mind,
Yes.
what, in your mind, well, first let me ask you this. What did Alex say that meant to him?
He said to me, in what I took from what we talked about, that this love and do as you will was a way to say, I will do what I want. I will love who I want. I will do what I need to do in love. And that essentially is he will take what he wants.
Okay. I'm showing you an essay about love and do what you will. What is it called?
Dirige et quod vis fact.
Do you know what language that is?
I believe it's French.
Okay.
Do you
Regardless
speak
of what language
French?
it is, because I don't know. Do you know what it translates to?
Love and do as you will.
Can
Okay.
I
What's
speak
the
French?
date that this essay was
Can
written?
anybody?
November 9th.
I was
No.
really
By
asking
this
Ezra.
time, and is it the same as the type
There's
contemporary
that.
version?
There's no one
Yes.
that can actually
By
speak
this
French.
time,
I mean, why would you want
Was
to?
your
French
sexual
people speak
relationship with
French?
Alex,
Yeah, and they refuse to learn English. So,
had you
you
had
know,
sexual
fuck
intercourse by
them.
this time?
Yes, we had sexual intercourse by that time.
Okay, and I'm not, again,
No,
I'm not
I
going
can
to
ask-
ask you to read the whole
Halfway
essay.
decent at Portuguese.
But I'm going to ask specifically about this third paragraph.
Le Chat Noir says that
And
it
where
doesn't
says,
sound
"Please
like
forgive me."
French.
Okay, can you read that part, just those two sentences?
Yes, please forgive me for moving like you.
I think when they
You
were
who
talking all
are
that
so
vanilla stuff,
alive.
it sounded more like French.
Yeah.
I profane the very breaths I take, an undead hoping to pass for something other than than a conscious corpse. My guilt is wanting love without having a heart.
And the next sentence?
I've half-heartedly tried to isolate myself from you, afraid I would taint you.
Okay, and then I'm going to move down.
All right, so this isn't so much a defense; it's just Ezra getting off on reading her victim's poetry. I mean,
Well,
that's
I'm
all I'm
going
getting
to
out of
move down
this.
to the end of the page.
It's
yeah.
frustrating.
I mean, I
Off
feel
the
like
screen. I'm sorry. I'm going to get it on the screen because when I look down, it looks like it's on the screen, but it's not.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
I feel like they're trying to
Yes, this last
establish
paragraph. Can you read that?
that he
Yes.
had dark
I was further
thoughts.
contaminated.
Bye,
This all
Check. Thanks
mutated.
for coming,
I
babe.
wanted to be happy, but felt
Well,
unworthy.
if I
wanted
ever
to be
die,
loved, but
or if
refused
I'm
to
ever
believe it
murdered,
possible.
I want you
wanted
guys
to be
to
alive,
burn
but lacked a
all of
heart.
my journals and writings and everything because they could so be used against me. I mean,
Everybody's could.
I have lots of dark
Everybody's
art,
could.
you
You should
know?
see the memes I have in my phone.
Yeah, right?
Are you kidding me? You should look at my Google history. What I
And-
search.
Well, a lot of my paintings are venting, you know? So
Yeah.
I feel better, but I mean, they might make Giger blush. I don't know.
I mean, it is what it is. Like, I don't think that it's a good. This is a risky defense because, again, they're attempting to. It's a very fine line between explaining a relationship you had with the victim and putting the victim on trial. And the truth is, it doesn't matter in my mind, really, what he wrote or what he told Ezra, or I should say this, what Ezra claims he told her about what he wrote and what it meant, because none of this justifies what happened. And none of this, even remotely, unless they pick it up pretty quick here, goes to a self-defense. I understand they have to lay the foundation. I understand they have to explain to the jury the relationship as it was and all of the differing factors. I understand that, but reading his writings, I don't think it gets you there, frankly, as a juror. This would be not anything I would ever take into consideration, especially after you look at what happened when you listen to the forensic testimony. Then you're really like, oh my God, F this B. And I'm usually not an F this B this early in. You know what I mean? I usually want to listen. But yeah.
Heart.
Oh.
And you hurt me. I hated myself through you.
It's
And
almost
you were
over.
a living death. Everything I said came to be a lie.
8 minutes.
I had to escape the monster I became with you. You did not deserve it, nor did I.
Did Alex talk to you about what he's referring to when he says, I had to become the monster? I had to escape the monster I became with you?
Yes.
What is that?
In this conversation, we discussed how he felt, how we were continuing our relationship sexually, intimately, how wearing the masks to everyone else.
And what do you mean by masks? And you just explained that.
Wearing the masks as to seem a certain way with everyone, let's say out in public, but underneath the mask, there was a lot hidden.
It's not, Molson. I
All
don't
right,
get
I'm
it.
going to ask you about one other line in this essay. This is near the end of the essay.
Yes.
Like, it's
And
too
again, we're not going to read the whole
extremes.
thing. But I just would ask you to read the top sentence.
I am still afraid of myself. Afraid I will come out again and hurt someone.
Now, when he said that, did you discuss what he meant by he was afraid he would come out and hurt someone?
Yeah, he was afraid he was going to
Yes.
stab himself
Okay.
multiple
And
times. Really?
continuing with that paragraph?
Yeah, none of this.
Sorry,
I
Mr.
just.
Nelson wants to say something. Why don't you tell the jury what he said to you about him saying he was afraid he would come out and hurt someone?
What he said to me about this in our discussion is he said to me how he was afraid he was going to take all. He was going to be greedy in the sense that if he wanted something, he was going to get what he wanted.
I liked Lloyd.
I'm going to refer you back to an earlier
was
part
one
of
of
the
my
essay more in the
favorites.
beginning that I forgot to read you, or
Yes.
forgot to ask you to read.
Yes.
So let me just make sure I have that on there, where it says, I've half-heartedly.
Yes. I've half-heartedly tried to isolate myself from you, afraid I would taint you, yet I love you. I am sorry for this failure on my part. I know my touch would kill you, yet I reach out. That is my sin, the violence of my flesh that I lack a soul to correct.
Okay, now, did he discuss that with you specifically?
Yes.
What did he tell you about that?
What he told me about this is that in our relationship, I expressed a lot of my anxieties and my uncertainties with my previous relationship, continuing relationship with Jason. He was expressing to me that he knew it was causing me anxiety to pursue this, to keep pursuing this relationship and what we were doing. And he told me that at this point, it was that he didn't really necessarily care anymore, that he was causing this anxiety, that he was going to reach out anyways to me, that he was going to continue our relationship because that's what he wanted.
Now, did there come a
Whether I
time
wanted it or not.
where
No, right, exactly.
Alex
I wasn't
cut
a
his wrist?
consenting participant
Can you
in this
tell the jury about that?
relationship mask book
Yeah,
reading
There had been a
she might
time
as well be
during Chrome
irrelevant,
Boom
you
Boom.
know?
Yeah, like,
Some messages from Alex saying that
Can
he
you
had
really
harmed
know
himself.
another person?
He was
Right,
asking me
exactly.
if I could
Yeah.
drive him to a pharmacy or to help him out with this. And Jason at the time he asked me about it, and I told him Alex was hurt and Jason wanted to help. So I had gone over to Alex's house to help him.
And I showed him the
that is
carnage,
when
and he was like,
I
"There's no
seen
help
what
in
had
this guy."
happened,
right.
and Jason had patched him up, as he said.
When you say you saw what had happened, can you please describe that to the jury?
Trigger
What I
warning.
saw had happened was he had slit his wrist, and he's shown me that he had to use a t-shirt to kind of stifle the bleeding, and it was just a very ugly gash from what I looked at.
At a later date, did Alex tell you, first of all,
Ugly
at that
gash,
time, when you were
that's-
there with
that's
Jason, did he
too
say,
easy.
if you remember, what he
Yes.
said about cutting his wrist?
What he said to me about cutting his wrist is that he felt he was feeling depressed again, and that he felt like he was feeling dead inside.
Did he tell you that in front of Jason, or did he tell you that at a later date?
He told me that not in front of Jason, but kind of to the side. He pulled me to the side when we were talking.
And again, I'm showing you another essay by Alex Woodworth from exhibit number 697. What is this essay called?
This essay is called Between Two Hands, January 20th through 22nd, 2018.
Is it the same as the handwritten version, the typed version?
Yes.
Is this in evidence
Yes.
already? Okay,
Oh, yes. Absolutely. Exhibit 697, Your Honor.
okay, thank you.
She's like, "When are they going to get to me and my art? Why do I have to
Exactly.
read his
When is
crap?
when are we
To
putting my
read.
stuff on the Elmo?
A small
Can I
portion
do an audiobook of
of
Alex's
this larger
stuff?"
essay.
She's ridiculous.
And I would ask you, just the second paragraph, can you read that?
Yes. Should I confess that I have a large gash on my left wrist, a self-inflicted wound that had severed nerves and nearly cut through tendons. For me, one hand can only feel and move in a limp, numb way.
Okay, I'm gonna stop you. Did he discuss this essay with you?
Yes, definitely.
Did he literally mean that his left hand couldn't move anymore?
He could move it. He just said it felt different.
Okay. And is he referring in this essay, did he tell you that he was writing about the time where he had cut his wrist?
Yes.
And what did he specifically later tell you about cutting his wrist?
He told me he had done it kind of in a painful response to my rejection.
Later on in this essay, after he says limp, numb way, can we just go to where it says one of my hands? Yeah,
One of my hands has quit its status, almost as lib as corpse proper. It is no longer proper. It is a shameful and an advertising of my own lack of well-being. The reversibility of hands is gone. For me, one hand cannot feel. It is inactive, but it cannot be felt either. It is unpassive. I love you.
What does it say? I love you, Ted.
Yes, but
Do you know what Ted refers to?
there's no Ted, no.
Okay.
All right. So give me just a sec. That is where we are. And thank you, Molson Man. I was wondering if you caught that because I sure did, and it was annoying. Wrists.
Oh, yeah, I
Wow.
got to check in on my chat here.
So, what to say?
Well, I was taking notes on the part on how to get a woman back. I mean, say what you will about Alex, right? Slitting my wrist, I never thought of that. I mean, perfect. What a
Well,
great strategy.
Right. This is what I don't understand. How could it be that bad if Jason was able to patch it up? Now, I recognize that directionally, it was different, but not the usual that people see. But it, the way Jason made it sound when he testified, it was not that big of a deal. And I don't
Right.
even know who Ted is. Ted who? Where'd Ted come from? Or was he going to end it with
think it
welcome?
was
Thank
TED
you.
Talks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you for my TED Talk. Like, I don't, but there it is. That's the reason for the essays. That's what they wanted you to hear, is that he was struggling and just wanted to be with her so badly. And she was so conflicted because here she had Alex, and then she had Jason, and Alex was emotionally terrorizing her with these candlelit prone lovemaking sessions. Yeah, I have to say it for YouTube, while reading books with blindfolds, the anxiety of being without her glasses. It was all too much.
All right. So Cement Shoe says Ted probably gave her the yellow cup. So
Oh, that's
good one, Cement Shoes.
that's where those. I wondered where the or origins of the red or the yellow cup came from. But more importantly, I need to know, what is this like her emotional support cup? And listen, I'm not judging because I have my cup that I drink out of. It's the cup I use for everything. I also have my coffee cup. Ask Mo. She'll testify. Nobody ever uses that coffee cup. It's my mom's coffee cup. And I'm the only one that uses it. I have other coffee cups for other people. Nobody drinks from my mom's.
Well, I have an MC Escher coffee mug. that I think is pretty darn cool. So,
Use fancy.
yeah.
My
There's-
coffee cup came from my mom's house. It was a set she bought. There was like 8 of them, but there's only one left, and I have it. And my mom's not with me anymore, so don't make a thing of it. But because I'm okay. It's been enough. I mean, it makes me sad, but I don't want to talk about it. So,
Sure.
anyway, I was uncomfortable. Sorry. Is it like her emotional support cup? I mean, I don't. The defense has done a very good job of nonsense. Like every time an officer or a detective or any type of medical or law enforcement professional came into contact with Ezra, none of them knew how to deal with trauma. And Ezra was the victim in this scenario, and none of them recognized it because they don't have good training over there in Wisconsin, not in the whole state of Wisconsin, just in Eau Claire, to recognize her and treat her as a victim, and therefore get their questions in the way that it would be for a victim who has suffered through trauma to elicit the best kind of responses. Like, it's ridiculous. This is unbelievable. Like, I'm not believing it. You better come with some more better facts than just some musings from a kid at a coffee shop. Sorry, not sorry. You know what I mean?
Right.
This is ridiculous. It's too much of a stretch. It's too much of a reach. Like, I need to, 7 days of hot yoga and 87 hours worth of stretching before I can make this reach.
I think they're boring the jury too. Like, I would be bored.
Yeah, but because
It's repetitive.
It's repetitive and it doesn't make sense. They're not. I mean, she's been testifying for an hour, and there were a few interruptions. The time says 1 hour and 29 minutes. She probably testified, I'll be gracious, an hour and 25 minutes. Probably more like an hour and 27 minutes. But bottom line is, they've not started to draw any lines at all to anything. I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
I don't even think that's the end of it.
No, I think it's going to continue for 8 more days.
I think given the chance, she would just talk endlessly.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah. But I know what I was going to say. So did you catch at the end where Ezra completed the attorney's sentence?
I typed my name in wrong. That's
funny.
Dear.
Yes, I did. And she does that.
In the eye wrong. That's okay, though. That will only happen in this chat.
She does it a lot.
She does that sitting at the table, too. Like, she tries to help out. And she'll, like, laugh at it's just weird. It's like she's just weird.
Well, the thing is her finishing the attorney's questions means that she was coached. Coached is not prepped. Prepped is a better word, because she knew what the attorney was going to ask her and finished the question for her, and then proceeded to answer it. There's nothing wrong with preparing your witness. That's perfectly acceptable, and it's a good thing to do. The problem is that while you're preparing the witness, you need to tell them, you wait for me to finish asking the question before you answer. And for the love of Pete, don't make it obvious that I prepped you by finishing a question for me.
That's awesome.
Shit, Ezra. So she's so anxious to prove herself to be the smartest person in the room that she actually comes off sounding ridiculous. I don't know. She's on my nerves.
She's on my nerves too. Molson man thinks she's not guilty.
Oh, I think he's just messing with us.
Oh, okay.
I'm just messing with you.
I've been waiting for an hour and a half to address that.
Right? No. I think he's just joking, because the poetry has changed not the poetry. The essays have completely changed his mind, and now she's innocent.
I'd still be pondering the vanilla sex situation. Oh yeah, that will permanently be burned into my brain, Molson man. I will never get that out. I'll be pouring bleach on my eyes for.
Yeah, I don't know, the whole just.
That would be a day I would tell my mom not to come to my trial. I'd be like, "Yeah, skip today, Mom."
Yeah,
they were talking about that like sadomasochism stuff.
Yes.
Oh.
And she would look at her mom when she was talking about it in a weird way too. Ugh.
I think
she seems like the type of girl that would hit on her mom's husband.
I'm wondering if she was looking at her mom in the audience for clues as to what to say next. Like, you know how when you're watching like what's that show on TLC, Toddlers and Tiaras, and they pan over, not from the toddler but over to the audience, and you see the mom doing all the moves in the audience to coach their kid. That's what it seemed like she was doing. Like she was waiting for hand signals. Like, you know, like the pitcher waits for the hand signal from the catcher to know what pitch to throw. Like, come on.
See, I thought she got like a sick pleasure of her mom having to hear it. She almost like gave her a smirk.
I agree, Momo. That
It
was kind of what I
was-
was getting out of it.
It
too.
was kind of gnarly. I'm not going to lie. It was kind of icky, but I'm just saying maybe, yeah.
I would like to know why her mom kicked her out of the house.
Have you met Ezra?
Well, right, but
Well, not in person.
I think
just-
her mom kicked her out of the house because she pulled bullshit like this.
right.
Not unaliving people, but manipulating. And the way that she testified about what it was like growing up in her household, and but her dad got up there and tried to protect her, even though he was a witness for the state. He
Yeah, a
tried to
male.
protect her as much as he could. You know, I feel like the part of I'm curious if part of the reason why for the divorce between her mother and her father was because
her.
Ezra played both ends against the middle.
Yeah. I need somebody to do a documentary of her in prison.
Okay, I'll get right on. Allie, you're up. You got to go visit her. You're the closest
Yes.
one.
I want to hear from, you know, like they do Lock Up.
Yeah.
I want her to be one of the characters on there that they follow around.
Yeah. All right, you guys. Well, this was fun. We've been going for almost like 3 hours now. So I think I'm going to call it a night because I'm getting sleepy.
Me
Um,
too.
But we will be back tomorrow night with round 2 of Ezra Palooza. Thanks for coming up, Coolest Reviews. It was good
Yeah, thank
having you
you.
up here. It was a pleasure.
Thank you so much for having me as a guest. And
No problem.
and I try not to be, too sporadic or.
No, you do just fine.
I
You
know,
do
I was
just
a
fine.
little
Yes.
excited. So you know how that is. Like you start talking when you're excited, and it sounds like
Mhm.
this. Okay, you do not do that, CR. Bad.
No, you were fine. You didn't do
But
that
no,
at
thank
all.
you. Thank you really for
Mm.
having me as a guest. And at some point, because I kind of forgot to mention a few things. So hopefully we can do this again at some
Oh,
point.
yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So I want to thank everybody for coming and participating. It was a great chat, I thought, and it was a lot of fun. So night 2 of Ezra Palooza continues tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern. Thank you, Mo, and thank you, Coolest Reviews, and thank you to the mods and to the chat. Good night. See y'all tomorrow.
Night.
Okay, bye.